In the heart of ancient Italy, where the sun painted the skies with hues of gold and the earth whispered tales of old, there lay a city unlike any other. This city was Rome, the birthplace of legends, the cradle of gods. But before Rome stood proud and mighty, before its temples rose to touch the heavens, there was a time of darkness, a time of uncertainty. Long ago, in the mists of time, the land of Italy was home to many tribes. They lived in harmony with the earth, worshiping the spirits of nature, and weaving stories under the watchful gaze of the moon. Among these tribes, there was one that would change the course of history forever, the Romans. Legend has it that Rome was founded by two brothers, Romulus and Remus. Born of divine lineage, their fate was written in the stars. But their journey was not one of ease. Cast out by jealousy and greed, they were left to fend for themselves, abandoned to the mercy of the wild. Alone in the wilderness, the brothers clung to each other, their bond stronger than any hardship. They were guided by the hand of fate, guided to a place where the Tiber River sang its lullaby, where 7 hills rose like guardians of destiny. Here, they knew, was where their legacy would begin. But destiny is a fickle thing, and the road to greatness is often paved with sacrifice. As the brothers stood upon the Palatine Hill, gazing out over the land that would one day be theirs, a shadow fell across their path. A she-wolf, fierce and proud, appeared before them, her eyes ablaze with ancient wisdom. In her jaws, she carried 2 helpless infants, abandoned by the cruel hand of fate. But the she-wolf was not a creature of malice. With gentle care, she nurtured the brothers as if they were her own, feeding them with the milk of her own spirit, teaching them the ways of the wild. Under the watchful eye of the she-wolf, Romulus and Remus grew strong and wise. They learned the arts of war and the secrets of the earth, and their hearts beat as one with the land that had cradled them. And when the time came, they raised their voices to the heavens, calling upon the gods to bless their city, to bless Rome. From that moment on, Rome flourished, a beacon of light in a world shrouded in darkness. Its streets echoed with the laughter of children, its temples rose to touch the skies, and its people worshipped the gods with hearts full of reverence. And at the heart of it all stood Romulus and Remus, the brothers who had dared to dream, the brothers who had dared to defy destiny. And so, the story of Rome began, a tale of courage and perseverance, of love and sacrifice. For in the heart of every Roman beat the spirit of Romulus and Remus, the spirit of a people bound together by the ties of blood and kinship. And though the ages may pass and the sands of time may shift, the legacy of Rome will live on, a testament to the power of belief and the triumph of the human spirit. In the bustling streets of ancient Rome, where the scent of incense mingled with the aroma of freshly baked bread, there lived a people whose hearts beat to the rhythm of myth and legend. For in Rome, mythology was more than just tales of gods and heroes, it was the very fabric that bound society together, the guiding light that illuminated the path of every Roman soul. It all began with the stories whispered by the elders, passed down from generation to generation like precious heirlooms. These were not just fanciful tales to entertain restless children, they were lessons in morality and courage, and the very essence of what it meant to be human. One such tale was that of Hercules, the mighty hero whose strength knew no bounds. His adventures were legendary, his feats of bravery celebrated far and wide. But more than just a symbol of physical prowess, Hercules embodied the virtues of perseverance and resilience, qualities that every Roman aspired to emulate. Then there was the story of Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. Her allure was unmatched, her presence felt in every blooming flower, every breathtaking sunset. But Venus was more than just a goddess of physical beauty, she was a reminder of the power of love, the force that binds together even the most disparate souls. But perhaps the most beloved of all the myths was that of Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome itself. Their story was one of tragedy and triumph, of brotherhood and betrayal. But above all, it was a story of hope, a testament to the belief that even in the darkest of times, greatness can still be born. As the Romans went about their daily lives, they found solace in these stories, drawing strength from the heroes and gods who walked among them. In times of war, they called upon Mars, the god of war, to grant them victory on the battlefield. In times of peace, they paid homage to Ceres, the goddess of agriculture, in the hope of bountiful harvests. But mythology was not just a source of comfort, it was also a source of unity. For in a city as diverse as Rome, where people of all walks of life mingled in the bustling streets, mythology provided a common language, a shared heritage that transcended social barriers. Whether rich or poor, slave or free, every Roman knew the stories of their gods and heroes, and in that knowledge, they found a sense of belonging. And so, as the sun set on another day in Rome, the city buzzed with the energy of a people who knew that they were part of something greater than themselves. For in the stories of their mythology, they found not just entertainment, but meaning. They found the courage to face their fears, the strength to overcome adversity, and the hope to dream of a brighter tomorrow. And in that, they found the true essence of what it meant to be Roman. In the heart of ancient Rome, where marble statues stood tall and proud, and the air hummed with the whispers of the gods, there lay a tapestry of myths and legends woven with threads of gold and silver. These tales, passed down through the ages, were more than just stories. They were mirrors reflecting the hopes and fears, the dreams and aspirations, of a people bound together by the bonds of kinship and belief. As the sun rose over the rooftops of Rome, casting its golden rays across the city, the people gathered in the temples to pay homage to the gods. For in Roman mythology, the gods were not distant and aloof. They were living, breathing beings, ever present in the lives of mortals, guiding them through the trials and tribulations of existence. At the heart of Roman mythology lay a tapestry of themes and characteristics, each one woven into the fabric of the stories like threads in a grand tapestry. Among these themes was the idea of fate, of destiny written in the stars. For the Romans, fate was not something to be feared or avoided, it was something to be embraced, a guiding force that shaped the course of their lives. One such tale was that of Oedipus, the tragic hero whose fate was sealed from the moment of his birth. Despite his best efforts to defy destiny, Oedipus found himself inexorably drawn towards his tragic end, his every action leading him closer to his own downfall. But in his final moments, Oedipus came to accept his fate, finding solace in the knowledge that his suffering had served a greater purpose. Another key theme of Roman mythology was that of duty and honor. For the Romans, duty was more than just a word, it was a way of life, a sacred obligation that bound them to their families, their communities, and their gods. Whether it was the duty of a soldier to defend his homeland, or the duty of a priest to honor the gods with sacrifices and prayers, duty was the guiding principle that shaped every aspect of Roman society. One such tale that exemplified this theme was that of Aeneas, the noble hero whose unwavering sense of duty led him on a journey across the seas to found the city of Rome. Despite facing countless trials and tribulations along the way, Aeneas remained steadfast in his commitment to his destiny, his sense of duty driving him ever onwards towards his ultimate goal. But perhaps the most powerful theme of Roman mythology was that of resilience and perseverance. For the Romans, life was not always easy. There were hardships to be faced, obstacles to be overcome, and enemies to be vanquished. But no matter how dire the circumstances, the Romans never lost hope, never gave up the fight. One such tale that embodied this theme was that of the phoenix, the mythical bird that rose from the ashes of its own destruction to be reborn anew. Like the phoenix, the Romans believed in the power of resilience and the ability to rise above adversity and emerge stronger than before. And so, as the sun set on another day in Rome, the people gathered around the fires, sharing stories of gods and heroes, of triumphs and tragedies. For in these tales, they found not just entertainment, but inspiration. They found the courage to face their fears, the strength to overcome their obstacles, and the hope to dream of a brighter tomorrow. And in that, they found the true essence of what it meant to be Roman. In the realm of Roman mythology, where the heavens danced with the stars and the earth sang with the whispers of the wind, there dwelled a pantheon of gods and goddesses, each more magnificent than the last. These divine beings, with their powers and personalities, shaped the very fabric of the universe, guiding the destinies of mortals and immortals alike. Among the most revered of these gods was Jupiter, the mighty ruler of the heavens. With his thunderbolts in hand and his eagle by his side, Jupiter cast his gaze across the skies, watching over the world with a father's love. His voice boomed like thunder, his laughter echoed like the rolling of the clouds, and his wrath was feared by all who dared to defy him. But alongside Jupiter stood Juno, his queen and consort, a goddess of unparalleled beauty and grace. With her peacock feathers and her regal bearing, Juno ruled over the realms of marriage and childbirth, her presence bringing blessings to all who honored her. But woe betide those who crossed her, for Juno's jealousy was legendary, and her wrath was swift and terrible. And then there was Neptune, the god of the seas, whose trident could stir up storms and calm the waves with but a flick of his wrist. With his chariot pulled by sea creatures and his palace hidden in the depths of the ocean, Neptune ruled over the watery depths with a firm but fair hand. His temper was as unpredictable as the sea itself, but those who showed him respect were rewarded with his favor. But not all of the gods were so fearsome. Some, like Pluto, lord of the underworld, were shrouded in mystery and shadow. With his helm of invisibility and his three-headed hound by his side, Pluto ruled over the realm of the dead, ushering souls into the afterlife with a somber dignity. His realm was one of darkness and despair, but even in death, there was hope, for Pluto held the keys to the gates of Elysium, where the souls of the righteous found eternal peace. Yet amidst the darkness, there was also light, embodied by the radiant figure of Apollo, the god of the sun and music. With his lyre in hand and his golden chariot blazing across the skies, Apollo brought warmth and joy to the world, his music inspiring poets and artists alike. But Apollo was not just a patron of the arts, he was also a healer, a protector, and a bringer of prophecy, his oracle at Delphi guiding the fates of mortals with cryptic wisdom. And alongside Apollo stood his twin sister, Diana, the goddess of the moon and the hunt. With her bow and arrow in hand and her silver crescent shining in the night sky, Diana roamed the wilderness with her band of nymphs, her laughter echoing through the forests and her arrows striking true. But Diana was more than just a huntress, she was also a guardian of women and children, a protector of the innocent, and a fierce defender of the natural world. But perhaps the most beloved of all the gods was Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. With her golden hair and her radiant smile, Venus captivated the hearts of gods and mortals alike, her presence bringing joy and passion to all who beheld her. But Venus was not just a goddess of physical beauty, she was also a symbol of love in all its forms, from the fiery passion of desire to the tender embrace of friendship. And so, as the sun set on another day in the realm of Roman mythology, the gods and goddesses stood tall and proud, their powers and personalities intertwining like the threads of a grand tapestry. For in their stories and their legends, the people of Rome found not just entertainment, but inspiration. They found the courage to face their fears, the strength to overcome their obstacles, and the hope to dream of a brighter tomorrow. And in that, they found the true essence of what it meant to be Roman. In the realm of Roman mythology, there was no figure more revered, more feared, or more beloved than Jupiter, the mighty ruler of the heavens. His name alone could send shivers down the spine of mortals and immortals alike, for Jupiter was not just a god, he was a force of nature, a being of unparalleled power and majesty. Legend has it that Jupiter was born amidst the chaos of the cosmos, his arrival heralded by thunder and lightning, by storms that swept across the skies with a ferocity unmatched by any mortal tempest. From the moment of his birth, Jupiter was destined for greatness, destined to rule over the heavens with a firm but fair hand. But Jupiter's path to power was not an easy one, for he faced many trials and tribulations along the way. From the moment he was born, his father, Saturn, feared that one day his son would overthrow him, just as he had overthrown his own father before him. And so, to prevent this prophecy from coming true, Saturn sought to devour his son, to swallow him whole and cast him into the depths of the underworld. But fate had other plans for Jupiter, for even as he lay helpless in the belly of his father, he was already plotting his escape. With a strength born of desperation, Jupiter fought against the bonds that held him captive, until at last, with a mighty roar that shook the very foundations of the earth, he burst forth from his prison, reborn anew, a god of thunder and lightning, of storms and tempests. From that moment on, Jupiter knew that his destiny lay not in the shadows of the underworld, but in the heavens above. And so, with a thunderous clap of his wings, he soared into the sky, taking his place among the stars as the ruler of the heavens. But Jupiter's reign was not without its challenges, for he faced many foes who sought to overthrow him and seize his throne for themselves. Chief among these was the Titan Typhon, a monstrous creature with 100 heads and 1,000 arms, whose very presence struck fear into the hearts of gods and mortals alike. For days, Jupiter and Typhon battled across the heavens, their clashes echoing like thunder across the skies, their fury lighting up the night with flashes of lightning. But in the end, it was Jupiter who emerged victorious, his thunderbolt striking true, his strength unmatched by any other. And so, with Typhon vanquished and his throne secure, Jupiter ruled over the heavens with a firm but fair hand, guiding the destinies of gods and mortals alike with wisdom and justice. His voice boomed like thunder, his laughter echoed like the rolling of the clouds, and his wrath was feared by all who dared to defy him. But despite his power and majesty, Jupiter was not without compassion, for he was a god of many faces, each one reflecting a different aspect of his divine nature. To some, he was the father of gods and men, a protector and a provider, a figure of strength and stability in a world filled with chaos and uncertainty. To others, he was a symbol of justice and righteousness, a bringer of order and harmony, a force for good in a world plagued by strife and discord. And to still others, he was a source of inspiration and hope, a beacon of light in the darkness, a reminder that even in the bleakest of times, there is always a glimmer of hope on the horizon. And so, as the sun set on another day in the realm of Roman mythology, the people looked up at the heavens and saw the face of Jupiter shining down upon them, a reminder of the power and majesty of the gods, and of the eternal bond that connected gods and mortals alike. For in the stories of Jupiter and his fellow gods, the people found not just entertainment, but inspiration. They found the courage to face their fears, the strength to overcome their obstacles, and the hope to dream of a brighter tomorrow. And in that, they found the true essence of what it meant to be Roman. In the celestial realm of Roman mythology, amidst the shimmering stars and swirling clouds, there resided a goddess whose beauty was matched only by her power, a goddess known as Juno, the queen of the heavens. But behind her regal facade lay a tale of love, jealousy, and unyielding devotion that would echo through the ages. The story of Juno began long ago, in a time when the world was young and the gods walked among mortals. Born of the primordial forces of creation, Juno emerged from the depths of the cosmos, her radiance illuminating the heavens like a beacon of hope in the darkness. From the moment of her birth, she was destined for greatness, destined to rule over the heavens with a grace and majesty unmatched by any other. But Juno's path to power was not an easy one, for she faced many trials and tribulations along the way. From the moment she set foot in the celestial realm, she was met with jealousy and resentment from her fellow gods, who feared her beauty and coveted her throne. Chief among these rivals was Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, whose envy burned like a flame in her heart. For years, Juno and Venus clashed in a bitter rivalry, their conflicts echoing across the heavens like thunder in a storm. But despite Venus's best efforts to undermine her, Juno remained steadfast in her resolve, her determination unwavering in the face of adversity. For she knew that she was destined for greatness, destined to rule over the heavens with a firm but fair hand. But Juno's greatest challenge came in the form of her husband, Jupiter, the mighty ruler of the heavens. Despite his love for her, Jupiter's wandering eye often strayed to other women, leaving Juno feeling neglected and alone. And so, consumed by jealousy and resentment, she vowed to win back her husband's affections at any cost. One day, as Jupiter walked among the mortals of Earth, Juno devised a cunning plan to test his loyalty. Taking on the guise of an old crone, she approached Jupiter and begged for his help, claiming to have been abandoned by her family and left to fend for herself. Moved by her plight, Jupiter took pity on the old woman and invited her into his home, unaware of her true identity. But as the days passed and the old woman's true nature began to reveal itself, Jupiter grew wary of her presence, sensing that there was more to her than met the eye. And so, in a desperate bid to uncover the truth, he devised a test to see if she was indeed the goddess Juno in disguise. One evening, as they sat together by the fire, Jupiter turned to the old woman and offered her a goblet of wine, knowing that Juno could not resist the temptation of alcohol. And sure enough, as soon as the old woman took a sip, her true form was revealed, her beauty shining like the sun in the heavens. But instead of feeling anger or betrayal, Jupiter was filled with admiration for his wife's cunning and resourcefulness. For in that moment, he realized that Juno's love for him knew no bounds, and that she would stop at nothing to win back his affections. And so, as the sun set on another day in the celestial realm, Jupiter and Juno stood side by side, their love stronger than ever before. For in the face of adversity, they had proven that their bond was unbreakable, that no obstacle was too great to overcome. And as they looked out over the heavens, their hearts filled with love and gratitude, they knew that they were destined to rule over the cosmos together, for all eternity. For in the story of Jupiter and Juno, the people of Rome found not just a tale of love and devotion, but a reminder that even in the darkest of times, true love will always prevail. In the vast expanse of the celestial realm, where the waters of the heavens met the depths of the earth, there roamed a god whose power was as boundless as the ocean itself, a god known as Neptune, the mighty ruler of the seas. But behind his imposing facade lay a tale of longing, loss, and unwavering determination that would stir the hearts of gods and mortals alike. The story of Neptune began in the earliest days of creation, when the world was young and the oceans teemed with life. Born of the primordial forces of the cosmos, Neptune emerged from the depths of the sea, his trident in hand and his chariot pulled by sea creatures of every shape and size. From the moment of his birth, he was destined to rule over the waters with a firm but fair hand, guiding the currents and tides with a wisdom unmatched by any mortal mind. But Neptune's path to power was not an easy one, for he faced many trials and tribulations along the way. From the moment he set foot in the celestial realm, he was met with skepticism and distrust from his fellow gods, who viewed him as an upstart and a usurper. Chief among these skeptics was his brother Jupiter, the mighty ruler of the heavens, whose jealousy burned like a flame in his heart. For years, Neptune and Jupiter clashed in a bitter rivalry, their conflicts echoing across the heavens like thunder in a storm. But despite Jupiter's best efforts to undermine him, Neptune remained steadfast in his resolve, his determination unwavering in the face of adversity. For he knew that he was destined for greatness, destined to rule over the seas with a firm but fair hand. But Neptune's greatest challenge came in the form of his love for a mortal woman named Amphitrite. From the moment he laid eyes on her, Neptune was captivated by her beauty and grace, her laughter like music to his ears. But try as he might, he could not win her heart, for Amphitrite had vowed to remain forever faithful to her true love, a mortal named Ceres. Heartbroken and despondent, Neptune vowed to win back Amphitrite's affections at any cost. And so, in a desperate bid to prove his love, he embarked on a journey across the seas, searching for a way to prove himself worthy of her love. But no matter how far he traveled or how hard he searched, Neptune could not find a way to win back Amphitrite's heart. And so, consumed by grief and despair, Neptune turned his back on the world of mortals, retreating into the depths of the ocean to nurse his broken heart. For years, he remained hidden from the world, his presence felt only in the crashing of the waves and the roaring of the storms. But even in his darkest hour, Neptune's love for Amphitrite burned bright, a flame that could not be extinguished. And so, with a determination born of desperation, he vowed to win back her affections, no matter the cost. And so, with a mighty roar that shook the very foundations of the earth, Neptune emerged from the depths of the ocean, his trident in hand and his chariot blazing across the waves. For he had realized that true love was not about possession or control, but about acceptance and understanding, about supporting each other through thick and thin. And so, as the sun set on another day in the celestial realm, Neptune and Amphitrite stood side by side, their hearts filled with love and gratitude. For in the face of adversity, they had proven that true love knows no bounds, that it can overcome even the greatest of obstacles. And as they looked out over the vast expanse of the ocean, their hearts filled with joy and contentment, they knew that they were destined to rule over the seas together, for all eternity. For in the story of Neptune and Amphitrite, the people of Rome found not just a tale of love and devotion, but a reminder that even in the darkest of times, true love will always prevail. In the depths of the underworld, where shadows danced and whispers echoed through the darkness, there dwelled a god whose presence inspired fear and awe, a god known as Pluto, the mighty ruler of the realm of the dead. But behind his stoic facade lay a tale of longing, loss, and redemption that would touch the hearts of gods and mortals alike. The story of Pluto began in the earliest days of creation, when the world was young and the heavens and earth were still joined as one. Born of the primordial forces of the cosmos, Pluto emerged from the depths of the underworld, his helm of invisibility cloaking him in shadow and his three-headed hound by his side. From the moment of his birth, he was destined to rule over the realm of the dead with a firm but fair hand, guiding souls into the afterlife with a solemn dignity. But Pluto's path to power was not an easy one, for he faced many trials and tribulations along the way. From the moment he set foot in the underworld, he was met with skepticism and distrust from his fellow gods, who viewed him as an outsider and a usurper. Chief among these skeptics was his brother Jupiter, the mighty ruler of the heavens, whose jealousy burned like a flame in his heart. For years, Pluto and Jupiter clashed in a bitter rivalry, their conflicts echoing across the heavens like thunder in a storm. But despite Jupiter's best efforts to undermine him, Pluto remained steadfast in his resolve, his determination unwavering in the face of adversity. For he knew that he was destined for greatness, destined to rule over the underworld with a firm but fair hand. But Pluto's greatest challenge came in the form of his love for a mortal woman named Persephone. From the moment he laid eyes on her, Pluto was captivated by her beauty and grace, her laughter like music to his ears. But try as he might, he could not win her heart, for Persephone had vowed to remain forever faithful to her true love, a mortal named Adonis. Heartbroken and despondent, Pluto vowed to win back Persephone's affections at any cost. And so, in a desperate bid to prove his love, he kidnapped Persephone and took her to the underworld, where he hoped to convince her to become his queen. But Persephone, consumed by grief and despair, refused to listen to his pleas, longing only to return to the world above. And so, as the days turned into weeks and the weeks turned into months, Persephone languished in the underworld, her heart heavy with longing for the world above. But even in her darkest hour, she clung to the hope that one day, she would be reunited with her true love, Adonis. But as the seasons passed and the earth lay barren and cold, Persephone's longing turned to despair, and she began to lose hope that she would ever be reunited with her beloved. And so, in a moment of desperation, she turned to Pluto and begged him to release her from the underworld, to allow her to return to the world above and be with Adonis once more. But Pluto, consumed by his own longing and despair, refused to let her go, fearing that he would lose her forever if she returned to the world above. And so, in a moment of desperation, he struck a bargain with her, offering her a deal that would change the course of their fates forever. And so, as the sun set on another day in the realm of the underworld, Pluto and Persephone stood side by side, their hearts filled with longing and despair. For in the face of adversity, they had proven that true love knows no bounds, that it can overcome even the greatest of obstacles. And as they looked out over the barren landscape of the underworld, their hearts filled with longing and despair, they knew that they were destined to rule over the realm of the dead together, for all eternity. For in the story of Pluto and Persephone, the people of Rome found not just a tale of love and devotion, but a reminder that even in the darkest of times, true love will always prevail. In the celestial realm of Roman mythology, there stood a god whose presence on the battlefield struck fear into the hearts of his enemies, a god known as Mars, the mighty god of war. But behind his fierce exterior lay a tale of courage, honor, and the eternal struggle between duty and desire that would resonate with gods and mortals alike. The story of Mars began in the early days of creation, when the world was still young and the heavens and earth were joined as one. Born of the primordial forces of the cosmos, Mars emerged from the depths of the celestial realm, his sword gleaming in the light of the sun and his armor shining like the stars themselves. From the moment of his birth, he was destined to rule over the realm of war and conflict with a firm but fair hand, guiding armies to victory and defending the honor of his fellow gods. But Mars's path to power was not an easy one, for he faced many trials and tribulations along the way. From the moment he set foot on the battlefield, he was met with skepticism and distrust from his fellow gods, who viewed him as a reckless and impulsive upstart. Chief among these skeptics was his father, Jupiter, the mighty ruler of the heavens, whose jealousy burned like a flame in his heart. For years, Mars and Jupiter clashed in a bitter rivalry, their conflicts echoing across the heavens like thunder in a storm. But despite Jupiter's best efforts to undermine him, Mars remained steadfast in his resolve, his determination unwavering in the face of adversity. For he knew that he was destined for greatness, destined to rule over the realm of war and conflict with a firm but fair hand. But Mars's greatest challenge came in the form of his love for a mortal woman named Venus. From the moment he laid eyes on her, Mars was captivated by her beauty and grace, her laughter like music to his ears. But try as he might, he could not win her heart, for Venus had vowed to remain forever faithful to her true love, a mortal named Adonis. Heartbroken and despondent, Mars vowed to win back Venus's affections at any cost. And so, in a desperate bid to prove his love, he embarked on a journey across the heavens, searching for a way to prove himself worthy of her love. But no matter how far he traveled or how hard he searched, Mars could not find a way to win back Venus's heart. And so, consumed by grief and despair, Mars turned his back on the world of mortals, retreating into the depths of the celestial realm to nurse his broken heart. For years, he remained hidden from the world, his presence felt only in the clash of swords and the roar of battle. But even in his darkest hour, Mars's love for Venus burned bright, a flame that could not be extinguished. And so, with a determination born of desperation, he vowed to win back her affections, no matter the cost. And so, with a mighty roar that shook the very foundations of the heavens, Mars emerged from the depths of the celestial realm, his sword gleaming in the light of the sun and his armor shining like the stars themselves. For he had realized that true love was not about possession or control, but about acceptance and understanding, about supporting each other through thick and thin. And so, as the sun set on another day in the celestial realm, Mars and Venus stood side by side, their hearts filled with love and gratitude. For in the face of adversity, they had proven that true love knows no bounds, that it can overcome even the greatest of obstacles. And as they looked out over the vast expanse of the heavens, their hearts filled with joy and contentment, they knew that they were destined to rule over the celestial realm together, for all eternity. For in the story of Mars and Venus, the people of Rome found not just a tale of love and devotion, but a reminder that even in the darkest of times, true love will always prevail. In the celestial realm of Roman mythology, there existed a goddess whose beauty and grace were unmatched, a goddess known as Venus, the radiant goddess of love and beauty. But behind her captivating exterior lay a tale of passion, jealousy, and the eternal quest for true love that would captivate the hearts of gods and mortals alike. The story of Venus began in the earliest days of creation, when the world was still young and the heavens and earth were joined as one. Born of the primordial forces of the cosmos, Venus emerged from the depths of the celestial realm, her golden hair flowing like rivers of sunlight and her laughter echoing like the music of the spheres. From the moment of her birth, she was destined to rule over the realm of love and beauty with a gentle but firm hand, guiding hearts to find their true desires and inspiring artists to create works of unparalleled beauty. But Venus's path to power was not an easy one, for she faced many trials and tribulations along the way. From the moment she set foot in the celestial realm, she was met with envy and resentment from her fellow gods, who viewed her as a rival and a threat. Chief among these rivals was her mother, Juno, the queen of the heavens, whose jealousy burned like a flame in her heart. For years, Venus and Juno clashed in a bitter rivalry, their conflicts echoing across the heavens like thunder in a storm. But despite Juno's best efforts to undermine her, Venus remained steadfast in her resolve, her determination unwavering in the face of adversity. For she knew that she was destined for greatness, destined to rule over the realm of love and beauty with a gentle but firm hand. But Venus's greatest challenge came in the form of her love for a mortal man named Adonis. From the moment she laid eyes on him, Venus was captivated by his beauty and grace, his laughter like music to her ears. But try as she might, she could not win his heart, for Adonis had vowed to remain forever faithful to his true love, a mortal woman named Persephone. Heartbroken and despondent, Venus vowed to win back Adonis's affections at any cost. And so, in a desperate bid to prove her love, she embarked on a journey across the heavens, searching for a way to prove herself worthy of his love. But no matter how far she traveled or how hard she searched, Venus could not find a way to win back Adonis's heart. And so, consumed by grief and despair, Venus turned her back on the world of mortals, retreating into the depths of the celestial realm to nurse her broken heart. For years, she remained hidden from the world, her presence felt only in the gentle caress of the breeze and the soft glow of the moon. But even in her darkest hour, Venus's love for Adonis burned bright, a flame that could not be extinguished. And so, with a determination born of desperation, she vowed to win back his affections, no matter the cost. And so, with a mighty roar that shook the very foundations of the heavens, Venus emerged from the depths of the celestial realm, her beauty shining like the sun itself and her heart filled with love and longing. For she had realized that true love was not about possession or control, but about acceptance and understanding, about supporting each other through thick and thin. And so, as the sun set on another day in the celestial realm, Venus and Adonis stood side by side, their hearts filled with love and gratitude. For in the face of adversity, they had proven that true love knows no bounds, that it can overcome even the greatest of obstacles. And as they looked out over the vast expanse of the heavens, their hearts filled with joy and contentment, they knew that they were destined to rule over the realm of love and beauty together, for all eternity. For in the story of Venus and Adonis, the people of Rome found not just a tale of love and devotion, but a reminder that even in the darkest of times, true love will always prevail. In the vast expanse of the celestial realm, there existed a god whose wit and cunning were as legendary as his fleetness of foot, a god known as Mercury, the messenger of the gods and the guide of souls. But behind his mischievous grin and quicksilver movements lay a tale of adventure, loyalty, and the eternal quest for freedom that would capture the hearts of gods and mortals alike. The story of Mercury began in the earliest days of creation, when the world was still young and the heavens and earth were joined as one. Born of the primordial forces of the cosmos, Mercury emerged from the depths of the celestial realm, his sandals winged and his staff in hand. From the moment of his birth, he was destined to serve as the messenger of the gods, delivering their commands with speed and precision, and guiding the souls of the departed to their final resting place. But Mercury's path to power was not an easy one, for he faced many trials and tribulations along the way. From the moment he set foot in the celestial realm, he was met with skepticism and distrust from his fellow gods, who viewed him as a mere trickster and prankster. Chief among these skeptics was his father, Jupiter, the mighty ruler of the heavens, whose patience was often tested by his son's antics. For years, Mercury and Jupiter clashed in a playful rivalry, their conflicts echoing across the heavens like thunder in a storm. But despite Jupiter's exasperation with his son's antics, he couldn't help but admire Mercury's quick wit and cleverness. For he knew that his son was destined for greatness, destined to serve as the messenger of the gods and the guide of souls with a grace and agility unmatched by any other. But Mercury's greatest challenge came in the form of his love for a mortal woman named Iris. From the moment he laid eyes on her, Mercury was captivated by her beauty and grace, her laughter like music to his ears. But try as he might, he could not win her heart, for Iris had vowed to remain forever faithful to her true love, a mortal named Orpheus. Heartbroken and despondent, Mercury vowed to win back Iris's affections at any cost. And so, in a desperate bid to prove his love, he embarked on a journey across the heavens, searching for a way to prove himself worthy of her love. But no matter how far he traveled or how hard he searched, Mercury could not find a way to win back Iris's heart. And so, consumed by grief and despair, Mercury turned his back on the world of mortals, retreating into the depths of the celestial realm to nurse his broken heart. For years, he remained hidden from the world, his presence felt only in the playful whispers of the wind and the fleeting glimpses of light in the darkness. But even in his darkest hour, Mercury's love for Iris burned bright, a flame that could not be extinguished. And so, with a determination born of desperation, he vowed to win back her affections, no matter the cost. And so, with a mighty roar that shook the very foundations of the heavens, Mercury emerged from the depths of the celestial realm, his sandals winged and his staff in hand. For he had realized that true love was not about possession or control, but about acceptance and understanding, about supporting each other through thick and thin. And so, as the sun set on another day in the celestial realm, Mercury and Iris stood side by side, their hearts filled with love and gratitude. For in the face of adversity, they had proven that true love knows no bounds, that it can overcome even the greatest of obstacles. And as they looked out over the vast expanse of the heavens, their hearts filled with joy and contentment, they knew that they were destined to serve as the messengers of the gods and the guides of souls together, for all eternity. For in the story of Mercury and Iris, the people of Rome found not just a tale of love and devotion, but a reminder that even in the darkest of times, true love will always prevail. In the celestial realm of Roman mythology, there existed a god whose radiance and beauty were as brilliant as the sun itself, a god known as Apollo, the radiant god of light, music, and prophecy. But behind his dazzling exterior lay a tale of tragedy, resilience, and the eternal pursuit of artistic perfection that would inspire gods and mortals alike. The story of Apollo began in the earliest days of creation, when the world was still young and the heavens and earth were joined as one. Born of the primordial forces of the cosmos, Apollo emerged from the depths of the celestial realm, his golden lyre in hand and his radiant smile lighting up the heavens. From the moment of his birth, he was destined to inspire mortals with his music and guide them with his prophecies, his light shining like a beacon of hope in the darkness. But Apollo's path to greatness was not an easy one, for he faced many trials and tribulations along the way. From the moment he set foot in the celestial realm, he was met with skepticism and doubt from his fellow gods, who viewed him as a mere upstart and pretender to the throne. Chief among these skeptics was his father, Jupiter, the mighty ruler of the heavens, whose jealousy burned like a flame in his heart. For years, Apollo and Jupiter clashed in a bitter rivalry, their conflicts echoing across the heavens like thunder in a storm. But despite Jupiter's best efforts to undermine him, Apollo remained steadfast in his resolve, his determination unwavering in the face of adversity. For he knew that he was destined for greatness, destined to inspire mortals with his music and guide them with his prophecies. But Apollo's greatest challenge came in the form of his love for a mortal woman named Daphne. From the moment he laid eyes on her, Apollo was captivated by her beauty and grace, her laughter like music to his ears. But try as he might, he could not win her heart, for Daphne had vowed to remain forever faithful to her true love, a mortal named Sisyphus. Heartbroken and despondent, Apollo vowed to win back Daphne's affections at any cost. And so, in a desperate bid to prove his love, he embarked on a journey across the heavens, searching for a way to prove himself worthy of her love. But no matter how far he traveled or how hard he searched, Apollo could not find a way to win back Daphne's heart. And so, consumed by grief and despair, Apollo turned his back on the world of mortals, retreating into the depths of the celestial realm to nurse his broken heart. For years, he remained hidden from the world, his presence felt only in the gentle caress of the breeze and the soft glow of the moon. But even in his darkest hour, Apollo's love for Daphne burned bright, a flame that could not be extinguished. And so, with a determination born of desperation, he vowed to win back her affections, no matter the cost. And so, with a mighty roar that shook the very foundations of the heavens, Apollo emerged from the depths of the celestial realm, his golden lyre in hand and his radiant smile lighting up the heavens. For he had realized that true love was not about possession or control, but about acceptance and understanding, about supporting each other through thick and thin. And so, as the sun set on another day in the celestial realm, Apollo and Daphne stood side by side, their hearts filled with love and gratitude. For in the face of adversity, they had proven that true love knows no bounds, that it can overcome even the greatest of obstacles. And as they looked out over the vast expanse of the heavens, their hearts filled with joy and contentment, they knew that they were destined to inspire mortals with their music and guide them with their prophecies together, for all eternity. For in the story of Apollo and Daphne, the people of Rome found not just a tale of love and devotion, but a reminder that even in the darkest of times, true love will always prevail. In the realm of Roman mythology, there existed a goddess whose connection to nature was as fierce as her determination, a goddess known as Diana, the huntress of the moon and protector of the wild. But behind her stoic facade lay a tale of sisterhood, independence, and the unbreakable bond between goddesses that would resonate with both gods and mortals alike. The story of Diana began in the earliest days of creation, when the world was young and the heavens and earth were still intertwined. Born of the primordial forces of the cosmos, Diana emerged from the depths of the celestial realm, her bow in hand and her silver arrows gleaming in the moonlight. From the moment of her birth, she was destined to roam the forests and plains, protecting the innocent and preserving the balance of nature with a fierce and unwavering resolve. But Diana's path to power was not an easy one, for she faced many trials and tribulations along the way. From the moment she set foot in the celestial realm, she was met with skepticism and doubt from her fellow gods, who viewed her as a mere servant of her twin brother, Apollo. Chief among these skeptics was her father, Jupiter, the mighty ruler of the heavens, whose favoritism towards Apollo left Diana feeling neglected and unappreciated. For years, Diana struggled to prove herself worthy of her father's love and respect, her determination unwavering in the face of adversity. Despite the challenges she faced, she remained steadfast in her commitment to protecting the natural world and defending the innocent from harm. But Diana's greatest challenge came in the form of her love for her mortal companion, Orion. From the moment they met, Diana and Orion shared a deep and abiding bond, their connection transcending the boundaries of mortal and immortal alike. But try as she might, Diana could not escape the disapproval of her fellow gods, who viewed her relationship with Orion as a betrayal of her divine duties. Heartbroken and torn between her love for Orion and her duty to the natural world, Diana vowed to find a way to reconcile her conflicting desires. And so, in a desperate bid to prove herself worthy of both love and duty, she embarked on a journey across the heavens, searching for a way to balance her responsibilities as a goddess with her desires as a mortal woman. But no matter how far she traveled or how hard she searched, Diana could not find a way to bridge the divide between her two worlds. And so, consumed by grief and despair, she turned her back on the world of mortals, retreating into the depths of the celestial realm to nurse her broken heart. But even in her darkest hour, Diana's love for Orion burned bright, a flame that could not be extinguished. And so, with a determination born of desperation, she vowed to find a way to reunite with her beloved, no matter the cost. And so, with a mighty roar that shook the very foundations of the heavens, Diana emerged from the depths of the celestial realm, her bow in hand and her silver arrows gleaming in the moonlight. For she had realized that true love was not about possession or control, but about acceptance and understanding, about supporting each other through thick and thin. And so, as the moon rose high in the sky, casting its silvery light across the land, Diana and Orion stood side by side, their hearts filled with love and gratitude. For in the face of adversity, they had proven that true love knows no bounds, that it can overcome even the greatest of obstacles. And as they looked out over the vast expanse of the celestial realm, their hearts filled with joy and contentment, they knew that they were destined to roam the forests and plains together, protecting the innocent and preserving the balance of nature for all eternity. For in the story of Diana and Orion, the people of Rome found not just a tale of love and devotion, but a reminder that even in the darkest of times, true love will always prevail. In the celestial realm of Roman mythology, there existed a goddess whose wisdom and strength were as legendary as her beauty, a goddess known as Minerva, the wise and powerful goddess of wisdom, war, and craftsmanship. But behind her imposing presence lay a tale of resilience, determination, and the eternal struggle to prove oneself in a world dominated by gods and men. The story of Minerva began in the earliest days of creation, when the world was still young and the heavens and earth were joined as one. Born of the primordial forces of the cosmos, Minerva emerged from the depths of the celestial realm, her spear in hand and her eyes ablaze with the fire of knowledge. From the moment of her birth, she was destined to be a force to be reckoned with, wielding her wisdom and strength to shape the destiny of gods and mortals alike. But Minerva's path to power was not an easy one, for she faced many trials and tribulations along the way. From the moment she set foot in the celestial realm, she was met with skepticism and doubt from her fellow gods, who viewed her as a mere upstart and pretender to the throne. Chief among these skeptics was her father, Jupiter, the mighty ruler of the heavens, whose favoritism towards his other children left Minerva feeling overlooked and underestimated. For years, Minerva struggled to prove herself worthy of her father's love and respect, her determination unwavering in the face of adversity. Despite the challenges she faced, she remained steadfast in her commitment to using her wisdom and strength to make the world a better place. But Minerva's greatest challenge came in the form of her rivalry with the god of war, Mars. From the moment they first clashed on the battlefield, Minerva and Mars found themselves locked in a bitter struggle for supremacy, their conflicts echoing across the heavens like thunder in a storm. But despite Mars's brute strength and ferocity, Minerva's wisdom and cunning proved to be more than a match for him, and she emerged victorious time and time again. But even as Minerva celebrated her victories, she could not shake the feeling that she was still being overlooked and underestimated by her fellow gods. Determined to prove herself once and for all, she embarked on a quest to create something that would showcase her talents and earn her the respect she deserved. And so, with a determination born of desperation, Minerva set out to create her greatest masterpiece, a city unlike any the world had ever seen. With her wisdom guiding her every step, she laid the foundations, designed the buildings, and crafted the statues that would adorn its streets. But as the city began to take shape, Minerva encountered unforeseen challenges and obstacles that threatened to derail her plans. From natural disasters to political intrigue, she faced setback after setback, each one testing her resolve and pushing her to the brink of despair. But through it all, Minerva refused to give up, drawing on her inner strength and resilience to overcome every obstacle in her path. And as the city finally neared completion, she stood back and marveled at her creation, a testament to her wisdom, strength, and determination. And so, as the sun set on another day in the celestial realm, Minerva looked out over her city, her heart filled with pride and satisfaction. For in the face of adversity, she had proven that true greatness lies not in power or strength, but in wisdom, resilience, and the unyielding determination to never give up. And as she surveyed the city that bore her name, Minerva knew that she had finally earned the respect and admiration of her fellow gods. For in the story of Minerva, the people of Rome found not just a tale of wisdom and strength, but a reminder that even in the darkest of times, perseverance and determination can lead to greatness. In the celestial realm of Roman mythology, there's a goddess whose presence commands respect and admiration, a goddess known as Minerva, the embodiment of wisdom, courage, and strategic warfare. But behind her serene demeanor lies a tale of determination, resilience, and the pursuit of excellence in a world where gods and mortals alike vie for recognition and power. Imagine a time when the heavens and earth were newly formed, when the sun cast its golden light upon the world, and the stars danced in the night sky. It was in this time of creation that Minerva emerged, born of the primordial forces of the universe, her essence infused with the brilliance of the cosmos. From the moment of her birth, Minerva possessed a keen intellect and a thirst for knowledge that set her apart from her celestial siblings. While others reveled in their divine powers, Minerva sought to understand the mysteries of the universe, to unravel the secrets of existence that lay hidden in the fabric of reality. But Minerva's journey was not without its challenges. From the outset, she faced skepticism and doubt from her fellow gods, who viewed her insatiable curiosity as a sign of weakness rather than strength. Even her own father, Jupiter, the mighty ruler of the heavens, questioned her abilities, favoring her brothers and sisters over her. Yet, undeterred by the doubts of others, Minerva forged ahead, determined to prove herself worthy of her divine lineage. With each passing day, she delved deeper into the realms of knowledge, studying the arts of war, diplomacy, and craftsmanship with an unwavering dedication. But it was on the battlefield where Minerva truly came into her own. With her sharp intellect and strategic brilliance, she outmaneuvered her adversaries time and time again, leading her fellow gods to victory after victory. Her prowess in battle earned her the respect of even the most skeptical of her peers, as they witnessed firsthand the power of her intellect and the depth of her courage. Yet, for all her triumphs, Minerva's heart was not at ease. Despite her many accomplishments, she felt a longing deep within her soul, a yearning for something more, something that would fulfill her in a way that victory on the battlefield never could. And so, with a determination born of desperation, Minerva embarked on a quest to uncover the true purpose of her existence. She traveled far and wide, seeking out the wisdom of sages and scholars, and delving into the ancient texts and prophecies that spoke of her destiny. Along the way, she encountered trials and tribulations that tested her resolve and pushed her to the brink of despair. Yet, with each obstacle she faced, Minerva emerged stronger and more determined than before, her spirit unbroken by the challenges that lay ahead. Finally, after many long years of searching, Minerva discovered the truth she had been seeking, a truth that would forever change the course of her destiny. She learned that her true purpose was not merely to excel in the arts of war and strategy, but to inspire mortals to strive for greatness, to embrace their inner strengths and pursue their dreams with unwavering determination. With this newfound knowledge, Minerva returned to the celestial realm, her heart filled with a sense of purpose and fulfillment. She dedicated herself to guiding and mentoring mortals, sharing her wisdom and knowledge with those who sought her guidance. And so, as the ages passed and civilizations rose and fell, Minerva became known as the patron goddess of wisdom and learning, revered by mortals and gods alike for her unparalleled intellect and unwavering courage. Her legacy endured through the ages, a testament to the power of determination, resilience, and the pursuit of excellence in all things. And as the stars twinkled in the night sky, casting their ethereal light upon the world below, the people of Rome looked up in awe and wonder, knowing that somewhere among them, Minerva watched over them, guiding them with her wisdom and protecting them with her strength. For in the story of Minerva, they found not just a tale of divine power and glory, but a reminder that true greatness lies not in the battles we win, but in the lives we touch and the legacies we leave behind. In the vast tapestry of Roman mythology, where the gods and goddesses reign supreme, there exists a pantheon beyond the famous faces, a realm inhabited by lesser-known deities whose stories are as captivating as they are obscure. These are the gods and goddesses whose tales have been overshadowed by the brilliance of their more illustrious counterparts, yet whose presence in the celestial realm is no less significant. Imagine, if you will, a realm where the boundaries between the mortal world and the divine are blurred, where the whispers of forgotten deities echo through the corridors of time. It is here that we begin our journey, delving into the realm of lesser-known deities to uncover the stories that lie hidden beneath the surface. Our first stop takes us to the shores of the Tiber River, where we encounter the goddess Feronia, the guardian of freedom and fertility. In ancient times, when the Roman Empire was still in its infancy, Feronia was revered as a protector of the oppressed and a champion of the downtrodden. Her temples dotted the countryside, offering sanctuary to those in need and solace to the weary traveler. But Feronia's story is not just one of benevolence and compassion, it is also a tale of sacrifice and redemption. Legend has it that in ancient times, Feronia was called upon to make the ultimate sacrifice to save her people from destruction. With courage and determination, she willingly gave up her divine powers to seal away a great evil, sacrificing her immortality for the sake of her beloved mortals. As we journey further into the realm of lesser-known deities, we come upon the god Terminus, the guardian of boundaries and borders. In a world where borders divide nations and separate peoples, Terminus stands as a reminder of the importance of respecting the boundaries that define our world. His temples were scattered throughout the Roman Empire, marking the boundaries between cities and provinces and ensuring peace and stability for all who dwelled within their borders. But Terminus's story is more than just a tale of stone markers and territorial disputes. It is a story of unity and understanding. Legend has it that in ancient times, when the world was torn apart by war and conflict, Terminus appeared before the warring factions and urged them to set aside their differences and embrace peace. With his wisdom and guidance, the leaders of the warring nations came together and forged a lasting peace, laying the foundation for a new era of prosperity and harmony. As we continue our journey through the realm of lesser-known deities, we encounter the goddess Carmenta, the patroness of childbirth and prophecy. In a world where the future is uncertain and the fates of mortals hang in the balance, Carmenta offers hope and guidance to those who seek her wisdom. Her temples were places of pilgrimage for expectant mothers and seekers of truth, where they could seek her blessing and receive her prophecies of things to come. But Carmenta's story is not just one of divination and foresight, it is also a tale of maternal love and sacrifice. Legend has it that in ancient times, Carmenta risked everything to save her children from a terrible fate, venturing into the depths of the underworld to rescue them from the clutches of death itself. With courage and determination, she faced down the powers of darkness and emerged victorious, returning her children to the world of the living and ensuring their safety for all eternity. As we reach the end of our journey through the realm of lesser-known deities, we come to realize that their stories are not just tales of forgotten gods and goddesses, but reflections of the hopes, fears, and dreams of the people who worshiped them. In their tales, we find echoes of our own struggles and triumphs, our own desires and aspirations, reminding us that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope, and that even the smallest of gods can make a difference in the world. In the heart of the ancient Roman world, amidst the lush vineyards and rolling hills of the countryside, there existed a god whose very presence ignited the senses and stirred the soul, a god known as Bacchus, the jovial and enigmatic god of wine, ecstasy, and revelry. But behind his jovial facade lay a tale of passion, tragedy, and the eternal quest for freedom that would captivate the hearts of gods and mortals alike. Picture, if you will, a warm summer evening, the air alive with the scent of ripening grapes and the distant hum of celebration. It is here, in the heart of the vineyards, that our story begins, a story of love and loss, of triumph and tragedy, of a god whose very essence embodies the intoxicating spirit of life itself. In the golden light of the setting sun, Bacchus emerges from the depths of the vineyard, his eyes sparkling with mischief and his laughter echoing through the trees. With a mischievous grin, he raises a goblet of wine to the heavens, offering a toast to the gods and goddesses who watch over the mortal world. But Bacchus's joyous demeanor belies a deeper longing, a longing for the freedom to roam the earth and revel in the pleasures of mortal life. For despite his divine lineage, Bacchus has always felt a connection to the mortal world, drawn to its beauty and vitality like a moth to a flame. As he wanders through the vineyards, Bacchus encounters a group of mortals celebrating the harvest with song and dance. Intrigued by their exuberance, he joins in their revelry, his presence infusing the celebration with a sense of divine magic. But as the night wears on and the wine flows freely, Bacchus's revelry turns to tragedy as he is betrayed by those he thought were his friends. Enraged and heartbroken, he unleashes his divine wrath upon the mortals, cursing them to wander the earth forever as creatures of the night. Haunted by the memory of his betrayal, Bacchus retreats into the depths of the vineyard, his heart heavy with sorrow. But even in his darkest hour, he refuses to succumb to despair, for he knows that true freedom lies not in the absence of pain, but in the strength to rise above it. And so, with a determination born of desperation, Bacchus sets out on a quest to reclaim his lost joy and restore balance to the mortal world. Along the way, he encounters a host of colorful characters, a band of misfits and outcasts who have been cast aside by society and left to fend for themselves. Moved by their plight, Bacchus takes them under his wing, offering them a place by his side as he travels the length and breadth of the mortal world. Together, they embark on a journey of self-discovery and redemption, their bond forged in the crucible of adversity and strengthened by the power of friendship. But as they journey through the mortal world, Bacchus and his companions encounter a series of trials and tribulations that test their resolve and push them to the brink of despair. From the depths of the underworld to the heights of Mount Olympus, they face down monsters and demons, their courage and determination shining like beacons in the darkness. But through it all, Bacchus remains undaunted, his spirit unbroken by the trials that lie ahead. For he knows that true freedom cannot be given, it must be earned through courage, perseverance, and the unwavering belief in the power of the human spirit. And so, as the sun rises on a new day in the mortal world, Bacchus and his companions stand on the brink of a new adventure, their hearts filled with hope and determination. For in the story of Bacchus, the people of Rome find not just a tale of divine power and majesty, but a reminder that true freedom lies not in the absence of pain, but in the strength to rise above it. In the celestial realm of Roman mythology, there lived a god whose fiery passion and boundless creativity forged the very fabric of the universe, a god known as Vulcan, the master craftsman and god of fire, metalworking, and the forge. But behind his stoic exterior lay a tale of pain, perseverance, and the enduring power of love that would touch the hearts of gods and mortals alike. Imagine, if you will, a world bathed in the warm glow of molten metal and the rhythmic clang of hammer on anvil. It is here, in the depths of Vulcan's forge, that our story begins, a story of love and betrayal, of triumph and redemption, of a god whose boundless creativity knows no bounds. From the moment of his birth, Vulcan possessed a gift for craftsmanship that set him apart from his celestial siblings. With each swing of his mighty hammer, he shaped the raw materials of the earth into works of art that dazzled the senses and inspired awe in all who beheld them. But Vulcan's talents were not without their drawbacks, for he was born with a physical deformity, a limp that left him feeling isolated and alone. Rejected by his fellow gods and shunned by his own mother, Vulcan sought solace in his work, pouring his heart and soul into the creation of masterpieces that would stand the test of time. But despite his outward success, Vulcan longed for companionship and love, a longing that would ultimately lead him down a path of heartache and despair. For you see, Vulcan was destined to marry Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, but their union was not one of love, but of convenience. Fueled by jealousy and resentment, Vulcan's wife, Venus, betrayed him with her numerous affairs, leaving him heartbroken and alone. But instead of succumbing to despair, Vulcan channeled his pain into his work, pouring his heart and soul into the creation of the most magnificent works of art the world had ever seen. And it was in the depths of his despair that Vulcan discovered his true calling, not just as a master craftsman, but as a symbol of resilience and perseverance in the face of adversity. For despite the pain he had endured, Vulcan refused to let his suffering define him, choosing instead to rise above his circumstances and forge a new destiny for himself. With each piece of art he created, Vulcan poured his heart and soul into his work, infusing each masterpiece with a sense of passion and purpose that spoke to the depths of his soul. And as his fame spread far and wide, Vulcan became known not just as a god of fire and metalworking, but as a beacon of hope and inspiration for all who had ever known suffering and loss. But even as Vulcan's fame grew, his heart remained heavy with the memory of his lost love, Venus. And so, with a determination born of desperation, Vulcan set out on a quest to win back the heart of his beloved, no matter the cost. And so, armed with nothing but his love and his boundless creativity, Vulcan embarked on a journey across the heavens, searching for a way to prove himself worthy of Venus's affection. Along the way, he encountered a host of colorful characters, a band of misfits and outcasts who had been cast aside by society and left to fend for themselves. Moved by their plight, Vulcan took them under his wing, offering them a place by his side as he traveled the length and breadth of the celestial realm. Together, they embarked on a journey of self-discovery and redemption, their bond forged in the crucible of adversity and strengthened by the power of friendship. But as they journeyed through the heavens, Vulcan and his companions encountered a series of trials and tribulations that tested their resolve and pushed them to the brink of despair. From the depths of the underworld to the heights of Mount Olympus, they faced down monsters and demons, their courage and determination shining like beacons in the darkness. But through it all, Vulcan remained undaunted, his spirit unbroken by the trials that lay ahead. For he knew that true love cannot be forced or manipulated, it must be freely given, without reservation or condition. And so, as the sun set on another day in the celestial realm, Vulcan stood before Venus, his heart laid bare before her. And as he gazed into her eyes, he saw the flicker of recognition and understanding, and he knew that he had finally won back her heart. For in the story of Vulcan, the people of Rome found not just a tale of divine power and majesty, but a reminder that true love knows no bounds, and that even the deepest wounds can be healed by the power of forgiveness and redemption. In the lush fields and fertile plains of the ancient Roman world, there lived a goddess whose love for her daughter was as boundless as the golden wheat that swayed in the gentle breeze, a goddess known as Ceres, the nurturing and compassionate goddess of agriculture, fertility, and the harvest. But behind her serene demeanor lay a tale of heartbreak, resilience, and the enduring power of a mother's love that would resonate with gods and mortals alike. Imagine, if you will, a time when the earth was barren and the fields lay fallow, their once rich soil depleted of life-giving nutrients. It is here, in the depths of winter, that our story begins, a story of loss and longing, of hope and renewal, of a goddess whose unwavering devotion to her daughter would shape the course of the mortal world. From the moment of her birth, Ceres' daughter, Proserpina, was the light of her mother's life, a radiant beacon of joy and happiness that filled her heart with love and wonder. Together, they roamed the fields and meadows, their laughter echoing through the countryside like music on the wind. But their idyllic existence was shattered one fateful day when Proserpina was abducted by Pluto, the god of the underworld. In an instant, Ceres' world was plunged into darkness, her heart shattered by the loss of her beloved daughter. Filled with grief and despair, Ceres embarked on a quest to find her daughter, scouring the earth for any sign of her whereabouts. But no matter how far she traveled or how hard she searched, Proserpina remained out of reach, imprisoned in the depths of the underworld. But even in her darkest hour, Ceres refused to give up hope. With each passing day, her determination grew stronger, fueled by the love she felt for her daughter and the desperate desire to reunite with her once more. And so, with a determination born of desperation, Ceres set out to confront Pluto and demand the return of her daughter. With each step she took, her heart pounded with fear and anticipation, her mind filled with thoughts of what lay ahead. As she descended into the depths of the underworld, Ceres encountered a series of trials and tribulations that tested her resolve and pushed her to the brink of despair. From the river Styx to the gates of Hades itself, she faced down demons and monsters, her courage and determination shining like a beacon in the darkness. But through it all, Ceres remained undaunted, her spirit unbroken by the trials that lay ahead. For she knew that true love knows no bounds, and that a mother's love is the strongest force in the universe. And so, as she stood before Pluto, her heart filled with determination and resolve, Ceres demanded the return of her daughter. With each word she spoke, her voice echoed through the cavernous halls of the underworld, filling the air with a sense of urgency and purpose. Moved by her heartfelt plea, Pluto agreed to release Proserpina from his grasp, allowing her to return to the world above. And as mother and daughter were reunited at last, their joy knew no bounds, their hearts overflowing with love and gratitude. For in the story of Ceres and Proserpina, the people of Rome found not just a tale of divine power and majesty, but a reminder that true love knows no bounds, and that even in the darkest of times, the bond between mother and daughter can overcome any obstacle. In the realms of ancient Roman mythology, amidst the changing seasons and the cycles of life and death, there lived a goddess whose story echoed the eternal struggle between light and darkness, life and death, a goddess known as Proserpina, the delicate and enigmatic goddess of springtime, vegetation, and the underworld. But behind her ethereal beauty lay a tale of transformation, resilience, and the bittersweet embrace of fate that would capture the hearts of gods and mortals alike. Imagine, if you will, a world cloaked in the muted colors of winter, where the earth lay barren and lifeless beneath a blanket of snow. It is here, in the depths of the underworld, that our story begins, a story of love and loss, of rebirth and renewal, of a goddess whose journey would forever change the course of the mortal world. From the moment of her birth, Proserpina was destined for greatness, a radiant goddess whose beauty and grace captivated all who beheld her. But her idyllic existence was shattered one fateful day when she was abducted by Pluto, the god of the underworld, and taken to his realm to be his bride. At first, Proserpina was consumed by fear and despair, her heart heavy with the weight of her captivity. But as the days turned into weeks and the weeks turned into months, she began to see the beauty that lay hidden in the shadows of the underworld, the delicate flowers that bloomed in the darkness, the whispering winds that carried the songs of the dead. And so, with each passing day, Proserpina's heart began to soften, her fear giving way to acceptance and even, dare she say, a glimmer of affection for her captor. For in Pluto, she saw not just a fearsome god of the underworld, but a lonely soul yearning for companionship and love. But even as Proserpina found solace in the depths of the underworld, her absence from the mortal world plunged the earth into darkness and despair. Without her gentle touch, the fields lay fallow and the flowers wilted, their vibrant colors fading into nothingness. Moved by the plight of the mortal world, Proserpina made a decision that would change the course of her destiny forever. With a heavy heart, she bid farewell to Pluto and returned to the world above, determined to bring light and life back to the earth. But as she emerged from the depths of the underworld, Proserpina found herself torn between two worlds, the darkness of the underworld and the light of the mortal world. And so, with a heavy heart, she made a decision that would shape the course of her destiny forever. With each step she took, Proserpina felt the weight of her decision pressing down upon her, her heart torn between duty and desire. But as she gazed upon the barren fields and wilted flowers, she knew that she had made the right choice, for in sacrificing her own happiness, she had brought light and life back to the earth. And so, as the seasons turned and the earth bloomed once more, Proserpina found solace in the knowledge that her sacrifice had not been in vain. For in giving up her own happiness for the sake of others, she had become more than just a goddess, she had become a symbol of hope and renewal for all who dwelled upon the earth. And as the people of Rome looked upon the blooming fields and vibrant flowers, they knew that the story of Proserpina was not just a tale of divine power and majesty, but a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope, and that even the most unlikely of heroes can change the course of destiny. In the ancient Roman pantheon, amidst the grandeur of the celestial realm, there resided a god whose very essence embodied the passage of time, the duality of existence, and the eternal cycle of beginnings and endings, a god known as Janus, the enigmatic and mysterious god of transitions, doorways, and new beginnings. But behind his ever-watchful gaze lay a tale of intrigue, wisdom, and the profound mysteries of the universe that would captivate the hearts and minds of gods and mortals alike. Imagine, if you will, a world cloaked in the soft hues of twilight, where the boundaries between day and night, light and darkness, are blurred and indistinct. It is here, in the liminal space between past and future, that our story begins, a story of reflection and introspection, of hope and renewal, of a God whose presence heralds the dawn of a new age. From the moment of his creation, Janus stood at the crossroads of existence, his dual-faced visage gazing outwards towards the past and the future, his eyes seeing all and revealing nothing. With each passing moment, he witnessed the ebb and flow of time, the rise and fall of civilizations, the birth and death of stars. But Janus's true power lay not in his ability to see the future, but in his capacity to guide mortals through the transitions of life, to stand as a guardian at the threshold between one chapter and the next, offering solace and guidance to those who dared to venture into the unknown. And so, with each new dawn, Janus would open the doors of possibility, ushering in a new era of hope and promise for all who sought his guidance. From the humble farmer planting his first seeds in the springtime to the weary travelers seeking shelter from the storm, Janus was there, his watchful gaze offering comfort and reassurance in times of uncertainty. But Janus's role as a guide and guardian was not without its challenges, for he was tasked with bearing witness to the full spectrum of human experience, the joy and sorrow, triumph and tragedy, love and loss that define the human condition. And with each passing day, his heart grew heavy with the weight of the world, his dual-faced visage reflecting the myriad emotions of those he sought to protect. Yet, even in the face of adversity, Janus remained steadfast in his purpose, his unwavering resolve serving as a beacon of hope for all who sought his guidance. For he knew that true wisdom lies not in avoiding hardship, but in facing it head-on, with courage and grace. As the ages passed and civilizations rose and fell, Janus remained a constant presence in the lives of mortals, his wisdom and guidance shaping the course of history in ways both seen and unseen. From the grand ceremonies of state to the quiet moments of contemplation in the privacy of one's home, Janus was there, his dual-faced visage a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things. But as the world changed and evolved, so too did Janus, his dual nature reflecting the ever-shifting tides of existence. And as he stood at the threshold of yet another new era, his heart filled with hope and anticipation for the adventures that lay ahead. For in the story of Janus, the people of Rome found not just a tale of divine power and majesty, but a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always light, and that even the most uncertain of transitions can lead to new beginnings. And as they gazed upon the dawning of each new day, they knew that Janus was there, ever watchful, ever guiding, ever true. In the heart of ancient Rome, amidst the bustling streets and bustling marketplaces, there existed a goddess whose presence illuminated the hearths and homes of mortals, a goddess known as Vesta, the gentle and serene goddess of the hearth, home, and family. But behind her tranquil facade lay a tale of sacrifice, devotion, and the enduring power of love that would warm the hearts of gods and mortals alike. Picture, if you will, a world bathed in the soft glow of flickering flames, where the warmth of the hearth brings comfort and solace to all who dwell within its embrace. It is here, in the heart of the home, that our story begins, a story of love and loyalty, of duty and sacrifice, of a goddess whose unwavering devotion to her people knows no bounds. From the moment of her creation, Vesta stood as a beacon of light and warmth in the lives of mortals, her gentle presence filling their homes with love and tranquility. With each flicker of the flame, she watched over her people, offering guidance and protection in times of need. But Vesta's true power lay not in her divine abilities, but in her capacity to nurture and sustain the bonds of family and community, to bring together loved ones around the hearth, where they could find solace in each other's company and strength in their shared traditions. And so, with each passing day, Vesta tended to the flames of the hearth, her hands moving with grace and precision as she tended to the sacred fire that burned at the heart of every home. With each flicker of the flame, she felt the love and warmth of her people, their hopes and dreams mingling with the smoke that rose towards the heavens. But Vesta's role as guardian of the hearth was not without its challenges, for she was tasked with bearing witness to the full spectrum of human experience, the joy and sorrow, laughter and tears, birth and death that define the human condition. And with each passing moment, her heart grew heavy with the weight of the world, her gentle smile masking the pain she felt for those who suffered. Yet, even in the face of adversity, Vesta remained steadfast in her devotion to her people, her unwavering love serving as a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. For she knew that true happiness lies not in the pursuit of power or wealth, but in the bonds of love and friendship that unite us all. As the seasons turned and the years passed, Vesta continued to watch over her people, her gentle presence a source of comfort and strength for all who sought her guidance. From the humblest of cottages to the grandest of palaces, her flame burned brightly, a reminder of the enduring power of love and compassion in a world filled with darkness and despair. But as the world changed and evolved, so too did Vesta, her gentle nature reflecting the ever-shifting tides of existence. And as she stood at the threshold of yet another new era, her heart filled with hope and anticipation for the adventures that lay ahead. For in the story of Vesta, the people of Rome found not just a tale of divine power and majesty, but a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always light, and that even the smallest of flames can illuminate the path to a brighter future. And as they gathered around the hearth to share stories and laughter with their loved ones, they knew that Vesta was there, watching over them with love and devotion, her flame burning brightly in their hearts forevermore. In the realm of ancient Rome, where the gods reigned supreme over the mortal world, there existed a complex web of relationships and family dynamics that rivaled even the most dramatic of human sagas. Within the celestial pantheon, love, jealousy, loyalty, and betrayal intertwined to create a tapestry of emotions that echoed across the ages. Join me now as we delve into the captivating world of divine relationships and family dynamics among the gods. Imagine a scene bathed in the soft light of dawn, where the gods of Olympus gather in the celestial court to discuss the affairs of the mortal world. At the center of it all stands Jupiter, the mighty king of the gods, his thunderous voice commanding the attention of all who stand before him. But even as Jupiter rules over the heavens with an iron fist, his heart is torn by the love he feels for his wife, Juno, and the countless affairs that threaten to tear their marriage apart. Juno, the regal queen of the gods, watches her husband's indiscretions with a mixture of fury and heartbreak, her eyes burning with a fierce intensity that belies her outward composure. But despite her anger, Juno remains steadfast in her love for Jupiter, willing to endure any hardship to preserve their union. And then there is Neptune, the god of the sea, whose tempestuous relationship with his brother Jupiter mirrors the tumultuous waters over which he presides. Bound by blood and duty, yet divided by jealousy and rivalry, Neptune's loyalty to his family is constantly tested by his desire for power and recognition. But amidst the chaos and strife of divine politics, there exists a bond of love and loyalty that transcends even the most turbulent of times, the relationship between Venus, the goddess of love, and her son, Cupid, the mischievous god of desire. Together, they roam the mortal world, spreading love and passion wherever they go, their laughter echoing through the heavens like music on the wind. But even as Venus and Cupid revel in their joyous escapades, they are haunted by the memory of Vulcan, the blacksmith god whose love for Venus remains unrequited. For Vulcan, the pain of rejection is a constant companion, his heart heavy with the weight of unfulfilled longing. And then there is Pluto, the enigmatic god of the underworld, whose obsession with Proserpina, the goddess of springtime, drives him to commit unspeakable acts of cruelty and betrayal. Bound by chains of desire and despair, Pluto's love for Proserpina is a twisted reflection of the darkness that lurks within his soul. But amidst the turmoil and chaos of divine affairs, there exists a glimmer of hope, a ray of light that pierces the darkness and illuminates the path to redemption. It is the love between Diana, the goddess of the hunt, and Apollo, the radiant god of the sun, whose union brings balance and harmony to the celestial court. Together, Diana and Apollo roam the heavens, their love shining like a beacon of hope in a world consumed by darkness. For in their union, they find not just solace and joy, but a sense of purpose and meaning that transcends the boundaries of time and space. And so, as the gods of Olympus gather in the celestial court to discuss the affairs of the mortal world, they are reminded of the power of love and the strength of family bonds that bind them together. For in the end, it is love that conquers all, and it is love that will endure for eternity in the hearts of gods and mortals alike. In the hallowed halls of Mount Olympus, where the gods and goddesses of ancient Rome dwell, there exists a rich tapestry of symbols, attributes, and epithets that define the divine beings who reign over the mortal world. Each god and goddess is imbued with a unique identity, represented by symbols and attributes that reflect their powers, personalities, and roles in the celestial hierarchy. Join me now as we embark on a journey through the realm of divine symbolism and epithets, where the stories of the gods come to life in vivid detail. Imagine a scene bathed in the golden light of dawn, where the mighty Jupiter, king of the gods, sits upon his throne, his thunderous voice echoing through the celestial court. As he surveys his domain, his eyes alight upon the symbols and attributes that define his godly essence: the regal eagle, whose piercing gaze reflects his omniscient wisdom; the mighty thunderbolt, whose crackling energy symbolizes his power over the forces of nature; and the majestic oak tree, whose sturdy branches signify his strength and stability. But Jupiter is not alone in his divine majesty, for he is joined by his queen, Juno, whose beauty and grace rival even the most radiant of stars. Clad in a gown of shimmering silk and adorned with a crown of glistening pearls, Juno exudes an aura of regal authority and maternal warmth. Her symbols include the peacock, whose iridescent feathers symbolize her vanity and pride, and the pomegranate, whose juicy seeds represent fertility and abundance. And then there is Neptune, the god of the sea, whose turbulent waters churn with the power of his emotions. With his trident in hand and his crown of seaweed upon his brow, Neptune commands the ocean depths with an iron fist. His symbols, including the dolphin, whose playful antics mirror his unpredictable nature, and the horse, whose graceful stride symbolizes his dominion over land and sea. But amidst the chaos and strife of divine politics, there exists a goddess whose gentle presence brings solace and tranquility to the celestial realm: Vesta, the goddess of the hearth and home. Clad in a simple robe of pure white linen and crowned with a wreath of flickering flames, Vesta tends to the sacred fire that burns at the heart of every home. Her symbols, including the hearth, whose warm glow symbolizes the bonds of family and community, and the lamb, whose gentle nature reflects her nurturing spirit. And then there is Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, whose radiant smile and enchanting charm captivate all who behold her. With her golden hair cascading down her shoulders and her eyes sparkling with mischief, Venus holds sway over the hearts of gods and mortals alike. Her symbols include the rose, whose delicate petals symbolize love and passion, and the dove, whose graceful flight represents peace and harmony. But amidst the grandeur of Mount Olympus, there exists a god whose dual nature defies easy categorization: Janus, the god of transitions and new beginnings. With his two faces turned towards the past and the future, Janus embodies the duality of existence. His symbols, including the key, whose ability to unlock doors symbolizes his power over thresholds and gateways, and the rooster, whose crowing heralds the arrival of each new day. As the gods and goddesses of Mount Olympus gather in the celestial court to discuss the affairs of the mortal world, they are surrounded by symbols and attributes that reflect their divine essence. For in the realm of the gods, every symbol tells a story, every attribute carries meaning, and every epithet speaks to the power and majesty of the beings who reign over the heavens. And as the sun sets on another day in the celestial realm, the stories of the gods continue to unfold, their symbols and attributes serving as a reminder of the timeless power of myth and legend. In the beginning, before time had a name and the heavens and earth were but a void of chaos and darkness, there existed only primordial beings, the Titans, the giants, and the gods who would one day shape the world as we know it. But how did this magnificent cosmos come into being? What divine forces set the stage for the epic drama of creation that would unfold in the annals of Roman mythology? Join me now as we journey back to the dawn of time itself, where the story of creation begins with a cosmic dance of light and shadow, love and strife. Imagine a scene shrouded in mist and mystery, where the Titans, the ancient beings who ruled over the cosmos, held sway over the heavens and earth with an iron fist. Among them stood Saturn, the powerful god of time, whose reign was marked by an era of peace and prosperity known as the Golden Age. Under his benevolent rule, the world flourished, and all living beings lived in harmony with one another. But as the eons passed and the Titans grew old, a new generation of gods emerged from the depths of the cosmos, led by Jupiter, the mighty king of the gods. Fearing that their power would be usurped by these upstart deities, Saturn and his fellow Titans waged a fierce battle against their divine progeny, plunging the world into chaos and despair. For countless ages, the forces of light and darkness clashed in a titanic struggle for supremacy, their celestial battlegrounds littered with the wreckage of fallen gods and shattered dreams. But amidst the chaos and strife, a glimmer of hope emerged, a spark of divine love that would ignite the flames of creation and give birth to a new era of life and light. It was Venus, the radiant goddess of love and beauty, who first dared to defy the forces of darkness and despair, her gentle presence bringing solace and comfort to all who beheld her. With her enchanting smile and beguiling charm, Venus cast her spell upon the hearts of gods and mortals alike, her divine essence permeating the very fabric of the cosmos. And so, as the gods and Titans clashed in a final battle for supremacy, Venus stepped forward to offer her love as a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. With each beat of her heart, the heavens trembled and the earth quaked, her love transcending the boundaries of time and space to unite all living beings in a glorious symphony of light and harmony. But it was not just Venus who played a role in the drama of creation, for there were others whose divine essence shaped the destiny of the cosmos. Among them stood Mars, the fierce god of war, whose thunderous roar echoed through the heavens like a mighty tempest, and Mercury, the swift-footed messenger of the gods, whose cunning and wit knew no bounds. Together, these mighty deities embarked on a grand quest to bring order to the chaos of creation, their combined efforts paving the way for a new era of life and light to dawn upon the world. With each stroke of their divine power, the heavens parted, and the earth trembled, their cosmic dance of creation echoing through the ages like a symphony of divine majesty. And so, as the dust settled and the echoes of battle faded into memory, a new world emerged from the ashes of destruction, a world born of love and strife, light and darkness, where gods and mortals alike would carve out their destinies amidst the grandeur of creation. For in the story of creation, we find not just the origins of the cosmos, but a timeless tale of love and sacrifice, triumph and tragedy, that speaks to the very essence of what it means to be human. And as we gaze upon the stars above, we are reminded of the divine forces that shape our world, guiding us on a journey of discovery and wonder that stretches across the vast expanse of eternity. In the infinite expanse of the cosmos, where the stars dance in a majestic symphony of light and the galaxies twirl in a cosmic ballet, there exists a tale as old as time itself, a tale of creation, of the birth of the universe and all that resides within it. Join me now as we embark on a journey to the very beginning of existence, where the forces of creation and destruction collide in a dazzling display of cosmic wonder. Imagine, if you will, a scene shrouded in darkness and mystery, where the heavens themselves tremble with anticipation for what is to come. In this primordial void, where time has yet to take shape and space is but a blank canvas, there exists a single point of pure potential, a singularity of unimaginable power, from which all things shall spring forth. At the heart of this cosmic crucible lies the spark of creation, a divine energy that pulses with the rhythm of eternity, waiting to unleash its boundless power upon the void. And then, in an instant that spans eternity, the singularity erupts in a blinding flash of light, giving birth to the universe in all its splendor and majesty. From the swirling chaos of the cosmic void emerge the building blocks of creation, particles of matter and energy, swirling and coalescing into vast clouds of gas and dust. Slowly but surely, these primordial clouds begin to condense under the relentless pull of gravity, giving birth to the first stars and galaxies that will illuminate the heavens for eons to come. But even as the stars ignite the darkness with their radiant light, a shadow looms on the horizon, a force of unimaginable power and malevolence known as chaos. Born from the primordial void itself, chaos seeks to consume all that lies in its path, to return the universe to the darkness from whence it came. And so, as the forces of creation and destruction clash in a titanic struggle for supremacy, the very fabric of reality hangs in the balance. But amidst the chaos and strife, there exists a glimmer of hope, a beacon of light that shines forth from the heart of creation itself. It is the spark of life, the divine essence that animates all living beings and binds them together in a grand tapestry of existence. From the smallest microbe to the mightiest celestial being, life flourishes and thrives in the fertile soil of the cosmos, a testament to the enduring power of creation and the resilience of the human spirit. But even as life blossoms in the garden of the universe, there exists a darkness that lurks in the shadows, a force of destruction and despair that seeks to snuff out the light of existence itself. It is chaos, the eternal adversary of creation, whose insatiable hunger threatens to consume all that stands in its path. And yet, even in the face of overwhelming odds, the forces of creation refuse to yield to the darkness. For they know that as long as there is light, there is hope, that as long as there is life, there is the promise of a brighter tomorrow. And so, as the stars continue to dance in their celestial ballet and the galaxies swirl in their cosmic embrace, the story of creation unfolds in all its splendor and majesty, a tale of love and strife, light and darkness, that echoes through the ages like a timeless melody. For in the beginning, there was only chaos and void. But from the darkness emerged a spark of creation, of life, of hope, that would ignite the fires of the universe and illuminate the heavens for all eternity. And as we gaze upon the stars above, we are reminded of the boundless potential that lies within each and every one of us, waiting to be unleashed upon the cosmos. Once, in the time before time, when the universe was but a vast expanse of chaos and void, there existed beings of unimaginable power and majesty, the Titans, the ancient gods who ruled over the celestial realm with an iron fist. But little did they know that their reign would soon be challenged by a new generation of gods, beings born from the very essence of creation itself. Picture, if you will, a scene bathed in the soft light of dawn, where the Titans gather in the celestial court to discuss the affairs of the universe. At the center of it all stands Saturn, the powerful god of time, his golden scepter held aloft as a symbol of his divine authority. But even as Saturn commands the respect of his fellow Titans, a sense of unease lingers in the air, a feeling that the balance of power is about to shift in ways they cannot yet comprehend. For far across the cosmos, in the depths of the primordial void, a spark of creation ignites, a spark that will give birth to a new era of gods and goddesses, each with their own unique powers and abilities. And so, as the Titans look on in awe and wonder, the first of these divine beings emerges from the darkness, a being of radiant light and boundless energy known as Jupiter, the mighty king of the gods. With a thunderous roar that echoes through the heavens, Jupiter takes his place among the Titans, his presence filling the celestial court with a sense of awe and reverence. And as he surveys the world around him, he knows that his destiny lies not with the Titans, but with the gods who will soon rise to challenge their authority. But Jupiter is not alone in his divine ascent, for soon he is joined by his siblings, Neptune, the god of the sea, whose tempestuous waters churn with the power of his emotions, and Pluto, the enigmatic god of the underworld, whose realm lies hidden beneath the earth itself. Together, they stand as a force to be reckoned with, a force that will one day shake the very foundations of the celestial realm. But amidst the grandeur of their divine ascent, there exists a sense of uncertainty, a feeling that the journey ahead will be fraught with danger and hardship. For even as Jupiter and his siblings bask in the glory of their newfound power, they know that their path is fraught with peril, and that the Titans will not relinquish their authority without a fight. And so, as the gods and titans prepare for the coming clash of titans, a sense of anticipation fills the air, a feeling that the fate of the universe hangs in the balance, and that the outcome of the battle will shape the destiny of all who dwell within its embrace. But amidst the chaos and strife, there exists a glimmer of hope, a belief that even in the darkest of times, the light of creation will prevail, and that a new era of gods and goddesses will rise to take their place among the stars. For in the story of the birth of the gods, we find not just a tale of divine power and majesty, but a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the human spirit will always triumph in the end. In the heart of ancient Rome, where the echoes of heroes' deeds reverberate through the ages, there exists a treasure trove of epic tales and heroic myths, stories of valor, sacrifice, and triumph that inspire awe and wonder in all who hear them. Join me now as we embark on a journey through the annals of Roman mythology, where gods and mortals alike weave tales of courage and adventure that will echo through eternity. Imagine, if you will, a scene bathed in the soft glow of twilight, where the gods of Olympus gather in the celestial court to discuss the affairs of the mortal world. At the center of it all stands Jupiter, the mighty king of the gods, his thunderous voice commanding the attention of all who stand before him. But even as Jupiter speaks of the challenges that lie ahead, his words are drowned out by the sound of a lone trumpet, a sound that heralds the arrival of a hero whose deeds will shake the very foundations of the universe. For far across the cosmos, in the land of Latium, there exists a kingdom ruled by a tyrant king named Turnus, a king whose cruelty knows no bounds, and whose thirst for power threatens to plunge the world into darkness. But amidst the chaos and strife, there emerges a hero, a young prince named Aeneas, whose destiny is intertwined with the fate of his people. With a heart full of courage and a spirit unyielding, Aeneas sets out on a quest to rid the world of Turnus's tyranny and restore peace and prosperity to his kingdom. Along the way, he faces trials and tribulations that would test the resolve of even the bravest of warriors, but with the help of his loyal companions and the guidance of the gods themselves, he perseveres, his determination never wavering. But Aeneas is not alone in his quest, for he is joined by a band of fearless warriors whose valor knows no bounds. Among them stands Achilles, the mighty warrior whose wrath is feared by all who dare to oppose him, and Odysseus, the cunning trickster whose wits are as sharp as his sword. Together, they form a fellowship of heroes whose deeds will be remembered for all eternity. As they journey across the land, Aeneas and his companions encounter a myriad of challenges, a fearsome dragon that guards a treasure beyond compare, a labyrinth of twisting corridors and deadly traps, and a monstrous giant whose hunger knows no bounds. But with each trial they face, they grow stronger and more determined, their resolve unwavering in the face of adversity. And then, at long last, they come face to face with Turnus himself, a king whose cruelty knows no bounds, and whose thirst for power threatens to plunge the world into darkness. But even as Turnus raises his sword to strike, Aeneas stands firm, his courage unyielding in the face of evil. With a mighty roar, Aeneas charges into battle, his sword flashing like lightning as he strikes down his enemies with righteous fury. And as the clash of steel rings out across the battlefield, the gods themselves look on in awe and wonder, for they know that they bear witness to the birth of a hero whose deeds will echo through the ages, inspiring generations yet unborn to rise up and seize their own destiny. But amidst the chaos and strife of battle, there exists a moment of clarity, a moment in which Aeneas realizes that victory is not won through strength alone, but through the power of love and compassion. And so, with a heavy heart, he lays down his sword and extends a hand of peace to his enemies, knowing that true greatness lies not in the glory of conquest, but in the bonds of friendship and camaraderie that unite us all. And as the sun sets on the battlefield, casting its golden light upon the fallen heroes and vanquished foes alike, Aeneas stands tall, his spirit unbroken and his heart full of hope. For he knows that though the road ahead may be long and arduous, he will continue to fight for justice and righteousness, his courage undiminished by the trials of the past. And so, as the stars twinkle overhead and the heavens themselves bear witness to the deeds of heroes, the epic tales of Aeneas and his companions live on, inspiring future generations to rise up and seize their own destiny. For in the world of Roman mythology, the spirit of heroism burns brightly, lighting the way for all who dare to dream of greatness. In the realm of ancient Rome, amidst the whispers of gods and the clash of swords, there exists a tale of epic proportions, a tale of love and loss, of courage and destiny, that has captured the hearts and imaginations of countless generations. This is the story of the Aeneid and the legend of Aeneas, a hero whose journey spans the breadth of the Mediterranean, from the ruins of Troy to the shores of Italy, where he would one day found the city of Rome itself. Imagine, if you will, a scene bathed in the soft glow of moonlight, where the city of Troy lies in ruins, its once proud walls reduced to rubble by the fires of war. Among the survivors stands Aeneas, a prince of Troy whose courage and valor are surpassed only by his love for his people. With a heavy heart, he leads his fellow Trojans on a perilous journey across the sea, fleeing the wrath of the Greek conquerors who seek to wipe their civilization from the face of the earth. But as they set sail into the unknown, Aeneas and his companions are beset by trials and tribulations that would test the resolve of even the bravest of warriors. From the clutches of a vengeful sea goddess to the temptations of a seductive sorceress, they face challenges that threaten to tear them apart at every turn. But through it all, Aeneas remains steadfast in his determination to lead his people to safety, his unwavering faith in the gods guiding him through the darkest of nights. As their journey unfolds, Aeneas and his companions encounter a host of mythical beings and legendary creatures, sirens whose enchanting songs lure sailors to their doom, cyclopes whose monstrous forms strike fear into the hearts of men, and harpies whose shrieks herald the coming of death itself. But with the help of his divine mother Venus and the guidance of the prophetic Sibyl of Cumae, Aeneas navigates the treacherous waters of fate, his destiny inexorably intertwined with the fate of Rome. And then, at long last, they arrive on the shores of Italy, a land ripe with promise and opportunity, where Aeneas dreams of founding a new homeland for his people. But as they prepare to settle in this unfamiliar land, they are met with resistance from the native inhabitants, a fierce tribe known as the Rutulians, whose king Turnus vows to drive them from his shores. With the fate of his people hanging in the balance, Aeneas prepares for battle, his heart heavy with the weight of responsibility. But even as he marches into the fray, he knows that victory is not assured, and that the road ahead will be fraught with danger and hardship. And yet, despite the odds stacked against him, Aeneas refuses to yield, his courage and determination inspiring his fellow Trojans to stand firm in the face of adversity. As the battle rages on, Aeneas finds himself locked in a deadly duel with Turnus, the fate of Rome hanging in the balance. With each stroke of his sword, he fights with the strength of 10 men, his love for his people and his dedication to his destiny driving him ever onward. And as the dust settles and the echoes of battle fade into memory, Aeneas emerges victorious, his triumph heralding the dawn of a new era for Rome. But amidst the celebrations and rejoicing, there exists a sense of melancholy, a feeling that the journey is far from over, and that the road ahead will be long and arduous. For even as Aeneas lays the foundations of a new civilization, he knows that the legacy of Troy lives on in the hearts of all who dare to dream of greatness. And so, as the sun sets on the shores of Italy and the stars twinkle overhead, Aeneas stands tall, his spirit unbroken and his heart full of hope. For he knows that though the road ahead may be fraught with peril, he will continue to fight for his people and his destiny, his courage undiminished by the trials of the past. And as the echoes of his epic journey reverberate through the annals of time, the legend of Aeneas lives on, inspiring future generations to rise up and seize their own destiny. In the heart of ancient Rome, where the Tiber River flows gently beneath the shadow of towering hills, there exists a legend as old as the city itself, a legend of two brothers whose fate would shape the destiny of an empire. This is the myth of Romulus and Remus, a tale of betrayal and redemption, of love and loss, that has captivated the hearts and minds of countless generations. Picture, if you will, a scene bathed in the soft light of dawn, where the city of Alba Longa lies in ruins, its once proud walls reduced to rubble by the ravages of war. Among the ruins stands Rhea Silvia, a Vestal virgin whose beauty is surpassed only by her sorrow. For she is the last of the royal line of Alba Longa, the daughter of a king whose throne has been usurped by a ruthless tyrant named Aemilius. But even as Rhea Silvia mourns the loss of her kingdom, she is visited by a vision of a great city rising from the ashes of destruction, a city that will one day become the greatest empire the world has ever known. And in her womb, she carries the seed of that vision, a pair of twins destined to rule over this new kingdom with wisdom and justice. And so, with a heavy heart and a spirit full of hope, Rhea Silvia gives birth to two sons, Romulus and Remus, the heirs to the throne of Alba Longa. But their joy is short-lived, for Amulius, fearing the prophecy of the twins, orders them to be cast into the raging waters of the Tiber River, their fate left to the mercy of the gods. But fate has other plans for Romulus and Remus, for as they drift down the river, they are rescued by a she-wolf, a creature of divine grace and wisdom, who nurtures them as her own. And so, the twins grow strong and healthy under the watchful eye of their surrogate mother, their bond unbreakable and their destiny unwavering. As they reach adulthood, Romulus and Remus embark on a quest to reclaim their birthright, to overthrow the tyrant Amulius and restore peace and prosperity to the land of Alba Longa. But their path is fraught with danger and hardship, for Amulius will stop at nothing to maintain his grip on power, unleashing his armies and his assassins to hunt down the brothers and put an end to their rebellion once and for all. But even as they face seemingly insurmountable odds, Romulus and Remus refuse to yield, their determination unshakable in the face of adversity. With the help of their loyal companions and the guidance of the gods themselves, they wage a daring campaign against the forces of darkness, rallying the oppressed people of Alba Longa to rise up and join their cause. And then, at long last, the day of reckoning arrives, the day when Romulus and Remus confront Amulius in a final showdown for the fate of their kingdom. With swords drawn and hearts ablaze, they charge into battle, their cries of defiance echoing across the battlefield as they face their destiny head-on. As the clash of steel rings out and the dust of battle settles, Romulus emerges victorious, his blade stained with the blood of his enemies. And as he stands triumphant amidst the ruins of Alba Longa, he knows that his journey is far from over, that the city of his dreams still lies beyond the horizon, waiting to be built from the ground up. And so, with his brother by his side and the blessings of the gods upon them, Romulus sets out to fulfill the prophecy of his birth, to found a new city on the banks of the Tiber River, a city that will one day become the greatest empire the world has ever known. And as the sun sets on the horizon and the stars twinkle overhead, the legend of Romulus and Remus lives on, inspiring future generations to rise up and seize their own destiny. In the heart of ancient Rome, where the streets are alive with the hustle and bustle of everyday life, there exists a collection of stories as timeless as the stars themselves. A collection of love stories and tragic tales that have captivated the hearts and minds of countless generations. This is the Rome of romance and sorrow, where passion burns bright and hearts are broken in equal measure. Imagine, if you will, a scene bathed in the soft glow of moonlight, where two lovers meet beneath the shadow of a towering oak tree, a tree that has borne witness to countless romances over the centuries. This is the tale of Pyramus and Thisbe, two young lovers whose love burns with the intensity of 1,000 suns, but whose fate is sealed by the cruel hand of destiny. Pyramus is a handsome youth, with eyes as bright as the stars and a heart as pure as gold. Thisbe is his beloved, a maiden of surpassing beauty whose laughter fills the air with music. Together, they are the embodiment of love's sweetest dream, a dream that will soon turn to nightmare. For you see, Pyramus and Thisbe are forbidden to be together, their families torn apart by a bitter feud that has raged for generations. But their love knows no bounds, and they defy the wishes of their parents to steal moments of blissful solitude in each other's arms. But as fate would have it, tragedy strikes when Thisbe is forced to flee from a jealous rival and seeks refuge in the shade of the oak tree where she and Pyramus would often meet. It is there that she encounters a fearsome lioness, her jaws stained with the blood of her latest kill. Terrified, Thisbe flees into the depths of the forest, leaving behind her veil as a token of her love. When Pyramus arrives at the appointed hour and finds the veil stained with blood, he is overcome with grief and despair, believing his beloved to be dead. In a fit of madness, Pyramus takes his own life with his sword, his blood staining the ground beneath the oak tree where Thisbe waits for him. And as Thisbe emerges from hiding, she is greeted by the sight of her beloved lying lifeless at her feet, a sight that breaks her heart in two. In her anguish, Thisbe takes up Pyramus's sword and joins him in death, their blood mingling together on the forest floor as they embrace for the final time. And as the moon rises overhead and the stars twinkle in the sky, their tragic tale echoes through the ages, a testament to the power of love and the cruelty of fate. But Pyramus and Thisbe are not the only lovers to meet a tragic end in the annals of Roman mythology. There is also the tale of Dido and Aeneas, whose love burns bright but is doomed to end in sorrow. Dido is the queen of Carthage, a woman of great beauty and wisdom whose heart is captured by the dashing hero Aeneas, a prince of Troy whose destiny lies far beyond the shores of her kingdom. Together, they share a love that knows no bounds, a love that threatens to consume them both in its fiery embrace. But as fate would have it, Aeneas is called away by his duty to found a new city on the shores of Italy, leaving Dido alone and heartbroken. In her despair, she takes her own life on a funeral pyre, her dying words a curse upon Aeneas and his descendants for all eternity. And as Aeneas sails away into the sunset, his heart heavy with guilt and regret, he knows that he has lost the greatest love of his life, a love that will haunt him until the end of his days. But amidst the tragedy and sorrow, there are also tales of love's triumph over adversity, tales of heroines like Psyche, whose beauty and courage win the heart of the mighty god Cupid, and tales of heroes like Orpheus, whose love for his beloved Eurydice transcends even death itself. And so, as the sun sets on the horizon and the stars twinkle overhead, the love stories and tragic tales of ancient Rome live on, inspiring future generations to cherish the fleeting moments of joy and to hold fast to the bonds of love that unite us all. For in the realm of romance and sorrow, there is beauty to be found in even the darkest of nights, and hope to be found in even the deepest of despair. In the realm of ancient Rome, where the gods walk among mortals and magic fills the air, there exists a tale as enchanting as it is tragic, a tale of love and beauty, of jealousy and redemption. This is the story of Cupid and Psyche, a love that defied the odds and triumphed over adversity, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts of all who hear it. Imagine, if you will, a scene bathed in the soft light of dawn, where a beautiful maiden named Psyche stands before her father's palace, her heart heavy with sorrow. For you see, Psyche is the most beautiful woman in all the land, her radiant beauty rivaling even that of the goddess Venus herself. But despite her outward perfection, Psyche is cursed with a fate that seems destined to bring her nothing but sorrow. For you see, Psyche's beauty has attracted the attention of the gods themselves, and none more so than Cupid, the mischievous god of love. But when Venus, the goddess of beauty, learns of Cupid's affections for Psyche, she is consumed with jealousy and rage, vowing to destroy the young maiden and punish her for daring to rival her own beauty. And so, under the cover of darkness, Venus commands her son Cupid to unleash his arrows of love upon Psyche, ensuring that she falls in love with the most hideous creature in all the land. But when Cupid sets eyes upon Psyche for the first time, he is struck by her beauty and is unable to carry out his mother's command. Instead, he falls deeply in love with the young maiden, his heart swelling with a love so pure and true that it defies all reason. But their love is not to be, for Psyche's fate is sealed by the jealousy of Venus, who commands her son to abandon the young maiden and leave her to her fate. Heartbroken and alone, Psyche is cast out into the wilderness, her once bright future now shrouded in darkness and despair. But even as Psyche wanders through the wilderness, her heart heavy with sorrow, she is guided by the gentle whispers of the wind and the soft caress of the earth beneath her feet. And so, with a spirit unbroken and a determination unwavering, she sets out on a quest to reclaim her lost love and restore peace and prosperity to her shattered life. Along the way, Psyche encounters a host of mythical beings and legendary creatures, sirens whose enchanting songs lure sailors to their doom, nymphs whose laughter fills the air with music, and even the mighty god Pan, whose laughter echoes through the forests and valleys of the land. But amidst the chaos and strife, there exists a glimmer of hope, a chance encounter with a mysterious stranger who offers Psyche a glimpse of her true destiny. And so, with the help of her newfound companion and the guidance of the gods themselves, Psyche embarks on a perilous journey to the realm of the gods, where she hopes to win back the love of Cupid and restore harmony to the world. But the path to true love is never easy, and Psyche soon finds herself facing a series of trials and tribulations that would test the resolve of even the bravest of warriors. From the clutches of a vengeful sorceress to the temptations of a seductive nymph, she faces challenges that threaten to tear her apart at every turn. But with each trial she faces, Psyche grows stronger and more determined, her courage unyielding in the face of adversity. And as she finally reaches the realm of the gods, she is greeted by a sight that takes her breath away, a palace of dazzling beauty, surrounded by gardens of unimaginable splendor, where Cupid awaits her with open arms. And so, as the sun sets on the horizon and the stars twinkle overhead, Psyche and Cupid are reunited at last, their love stronger than ever before. And as they embrace beneath the light of the moon, their hearts full of joy and their spirits soaring high, they know that they have triumphed over adversity and found true happiness in each other's arms. For in the realm of love and beauty, there exists a power that transcends even the gods themselves, a power that binds two souls together in a bond that cannot be broken, even by the forces of jealousy and hatred. And as the tale of Cupid and Psyche echoes through the ages, it serves as a reminder that love conquers all, and that true happiness can be found in the arms of the one you love. In the golden age of ancient Rome, amidst the grandeur of the city of Carthage, there lived a queen whose beauty and wisdom were renowned throughout the land. This queen's name was Dido, and she ruled her kingdom with a grace and dignity that endeared her to all who knew her. But little did she know that her life was about to be forever changed by the arrival of a stranger, a hero whose destiny was entwined with hers in ways she could never have imagined. The tale begins with the hero Aeneas, a prince of Troy whose city has been laid to waste by the Greeks. Fleeing the ruins of his homeland, Aeneas and his band of loyal followers set sail across the sea in search of a new land to call their own. But their journey is not without peril, for they are pursued by the wrath of the gods and the fury of the elements. After many trials and tribulations, Aeneas and his companions finally arrive on the shores of Carthage, a city ruled by the beautiful Queen Dido, whose kindness and hospitality know no bounds. Seeing the plight of the weary travelers, Dido welcomes them with open arms, offering them refuge and solace in their time of need. From the moment Aeneas sets eyes upon Dido, he is captivated by her beauty and grace, his heart stirred by a love so powerful that it threatens to consume him whole. And as the days pass and their bond grows stronger, Aeneas and Dido find themselves drawn together by a love that transcends the boundaries of time and space. But their happiness is short-lived, for fate has other plans for Aeneas, a destiny that calls him away from the shores of Carthage and into the heart of Italy, where he is destined to found the great city of Rome. And though he tries to resist the call of duty, Aeneas knows that he cannot ignore the will of the gods, no matter how much it pains him to leave Dido behind. Heartbroken and betrayed, Dido watches helplessly as Aeneas prepares to set sail once more, his eyes filled with sorrow and regret. And as he bids her farewell, she is consumed by a grief so profound that it threatens to tear her apart at the seams. But even in her darkest hour, Dido refuses to give up hope, clinging to the memory of her beloved Aeneas with all her strength. And so, with a heavy heart and a spirit full of longing, she sets out to win back the love of the man she holds dearer than life itself. But fate is cruel, and the gods are unforgiving. And so it is that Dido's attempts to win back Aeneas' love are met with failure and heartache, her every effort thwarted by forces beyond her control. And as the days turn into weeks and the weeks into months, Dido finds herself consumed by a despair so deep that she can scarcely bear to draw breath. And then, in a moment of desperation, Dido makes a decision that will seal her fate for all eternity. With tears streaming down her face and her heart heavy with sorrow, she takes her own life on a funeral pyre, her dying words a curse upon Aeneas and his descendants for all eternity. And as the flames consume her and the smoke rises to the heavens, Dido's spirit ascends to the realm of the gods, where she is reunited with her beloved Aeneas at last. And though their love may have been doomed from the start, it burns bright and true in the hearts of all who hear their tragic tale, a tale of love and loss, of betrayal and redemption, that will echo through the ages for all time. In the realm of ancient Rome, where the gods walk among mortals and heroes rise to greatness, there exists a tapestry of tales as vast and wondrous as the night sky itself. These are the adventures of the gods and heroes, a collection of stories that weave together the threads of fate and destiny, of courage and sacrifice, in a tapestry of epic proportions. Imagine, if you will, a world where mighty warriors clash with fearsome monsters, where gods and goddesses vie for supremacy, and where the line between myth and reality is blurred beyond recognition. This is the world of the gods and heroes, where every twist and turn of fate is woven into the fabric of existence itself. And at the heart of this world lie the adventures of the gods, a pantheon of mighty deities whose exploits are legendary in their scope and grandeur. From the thundering halls of Mount Olympus to the depths of the underworld, the gods embark on journeys that span the breadth of creation, leaving a trail of awe and wonder in their wake. Among the most revered of these gods is Jupiter, the king of the gods and ruler of the heavens. With his thunderbolt in hand and his eagle by his side, Jupiter reigns supreme over all the gods, his power and majesty unmatched by any other. But even the mighty Jupiter is not immune to the whims of fate, and his adventures often lead him into realms of danger and peril that would test the resolve of even the bravest of souls. One such adventure begins with the tale of Jupiter's beloved daughter, Minerva, whose beauty and wisdom are renowned throughout the land. But when Minerva is kidnapped by the fearsome giant Typhon, Jupiter must embark on a daring quest to rescue her from the clutches of her captor. Armed with his mighty thunderbolt and aided by a host of loyal companions, Jupiter sets out to confront Typhon in his lair, where a battle of epic proportions ensues. But even as Jupiter faces off against the monstrous Typhon, he knows that victory is far from assured. For Typhon is a foe unlike any other, a creature of immense power and strength whose wrath knows no bounds. And as the battle rages on, the very fabric of reality itself hangs in the balance, threatened by the chaos and destruction unleashed by the clash of titans. But Jupiter is not alone in his quest, for he is joined by a band of mighty heroes whose courage and strength are surpassed only by their loyalty to their king. Among these heroes is Hercules, the mightiest of warriors, whose strength is unmatched by any mortal or god. With his lion's pelt and his club of adamantine, Hercules stands ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead, his heart ablaze with the fire of battle. And so, with the fate of the world hanging in the balance, Jupiter and his band of heroes march forth to confront Typhon and his minions in a battle that will shake the very foundations of creation. And as the clash of steel rings out and the thunder of Jupiter's thunderbolt fills the air, the fate of the world hangs in the balance, teetering on the brink of annihilation. But even as the forces of chaos threaten to engulf them, Jupiter and his companions stand firm, their resolve unbroken in the face of adversity. And as the battle reaches its climax, Jupiter unleashes the full fury of his thunderbolt upon Typhon, striking him down with a bolt of lightning that illuminates the heavens themselves. And as the smoke clears and the dust settles, Jupiter stands triumphant, his daughter Minerva safe at his side and the forces of chaos vanquished once and for all. And as the gods and heroes celebrate their victory, their hearts filled with joy and their spirits soaring high, they know that their adventures are far from over, that the world is still full of wonders and dangers waiting to be explored. For in the realm of the gods and heroes, every day is a new adventure, a new opportunity to test the limits of courage and explore the depths of the human spirit. And as long as there are gods in the heavens and heroes on the earth, the adventures of the gods and heroes will continue to inspire and captivate the hearts of all who hear their tales. In the heart of ancient Rome, where legends are born and heroes are made, there lived a man whose name would echo through the ages, a man whose deeds would become the stuff of myth and legend. His name was Hercules, the mightiest of warriors, whose strength and courage were surpassed only by his kindness and compassion. The tale of Hercules begins with a humble birth, born to a mortal woman named Alcmene and fathered by the mighty king of the gods, Zeus himself. From the moment of his birth, Hercules was destined for greatness, his fate woven into the very fabric of the cosmos by the hands of the gods. But even as a child, Hercules' strength was evident to all who knew him, his mighty fists capable of crushing rocks and his booming voice shaking the very earth itself. And as he grew into manhood, his feats of strength and valor became the stuff of legend, earning him a reputation as the mightiest warrior in all of Rome. But despite his great strength, Hercules was not immune to the whims of fate, and his life was filled with trials and tribulations that would test the limits of his courage and resolve. And so it was that Hercules found himself tasked with a series of labors, 12 tasks that would push him to the very brink of his abilities and beyond. The first of Hercules' labors was to slay the fearsome Nemean lion, a creature of immense strength and ferocity whose hide was impervious to weapons of mortal make. Armed with nothing but his bare hands and his wits, Hercules set out to confront the lion in its lair, his heart filled with determination and his mind set on victory. As he ventured deeper into the dark and twisting labyrinth of the lion's den, Hercules could feel the eyes of the beast upon him, its growls echoing through the darkness like thunder. But even as fear gnawed at his heart, Hercules pressed on, his courage unwavering in the face of danger. And then, in a moment of clarity and inspiration, Hercules seized upon a plan to lure the lion out of its lair and into the open, where he could do battle with it on equal terms. And so, with a mighty roar that shook the very earth itself, Hercules challenged the lion to single combat, his fists flying like thunderbolts as he rained blow after blow upon the beast. But the lion was not so easily defeated, and it fought back with a fury that matched Hercules' own. Its claws tore at his flesh, its teeth gnashed at his bones, but still Hercules pressed on, his strength fueled by his determination to emerge victorious. And then, in a final, desperate struggle, Hercules seized the lion by the throat and choked the life from its body, his hands bathed in its blood and his heart filled with triumph. And as he emerged from the darkness of the lion's den, his prize held high above his head, the people of Rome cheered his name and hailed him as a hero. But this was only the beginning of Hercules' trials, for there were still 11 more labors that lay ahead of him, 11 more challenges that would test the limits of his strength and the depths of his courage. And as he set out on his next adventure, his heart filled with determination and his mind set on victory, Hercules knew that whatever trials lay ahead, he would face them with the same courage and resolve that had carried him through the Nemean lion's den. In the ancient land of Rome, where heroes roamed and monsters lurked in the shadows, there lived a young man whose destiny was written in the stars, a man whose courage and cunning would shape the course of history. His name was Perseus, and this is the tale of his greatest adventure, the slaying of the dreaded Gorgon Medusa. The story begins with a prophecy foretelling the downfall of the mighty king Polydectes, ruler of the island of Sisyphus. Determined to rid himself of Perseus, who stood in the way of his ambitions, King Polydectes concocted a scheme to send the young hero on a seemingly impossible quest to bring him the head of the Gorgon Medusa, whose mere gaze could turn men to stone. Undaunted by the challenge, Perseus set out on his journey, his heart filled with determination and his mind set on victory. Armed with a sword forged by the gods themselves and a shield polished to a mirror-like sheen, Perseus ventured into the unknown, guided by the whispers of the wind and the light of the stars above. But as he journeyed deeper into the heart of the wilderness, Perseus soon discovered that his quest would not be an easy one. For the Gorgon Medusa dwelled in a remote cave at the edge of the world, guarded by fearsome creatures and treacherous terrain that would test the limits of his strength and cunning. But Perseus was not alone on his journey, for he was aided by the wisdom of the goddess Athena, who appeared to him in a vision and imparted to him the knowledge he would need to succeed. With her guidance, Perseus pressed on, his resolve unbroken in the face of adversity. And then, at long last, he arrived at the cave of the Gorgon Medusa, a place of darkness and despair, where the very air seemed to pulse with malice. With his heart pounding in his chest and his hands trembling with fear, Perseus crept into the depths of the cave, his senses alert for any sign of danger. But as he ventured deeper into the darkness, Perseus soon discovered that he was not alone. For lurking in the shadows, with eyes that glowed like embers and fangs that gleamed in the darkness, was the dreaded Gorgon Medusa, a creature of nightmare and legend, whose very presence struck fear into the hearts of mortal men. With a courage born of desperation, Perseus raised his shield and caught sight of the Gorgon's reflection, avoiding her petrifying gaze while he positioned himself for the strike. And with a swift and decisive blow, he struck out with his sword, severing the head of the Gorgon from her body in a single stroke. But even as the head of the Gorgon fell to the ground, its eyes still glowed with a malevolent light, threatening to turn Perseus to stone with their deadly gaze. With a quick and decisive motion, Perseus wrapped the head in the folds of his cloak, shielding himself from its deadly power. And so, with the head of the Gorgon in his possession, Perseus set out on his journey back to Sisyphus, his heart filled with triumph and his mind set on victory. And as he returned to the island, he presented the head of the Gorgon to King Polydectes, fulfilling his quest and earning the admiration of all who knew him. But even as Perseus basked in the glory of his victory, he knew that his journey was far from over. For the road ahead was long and treacherous, filled with dangers and challenges that would test the limits of his strength and cunning. But with the head of the Gorgon by his side, Perseus knew that he was capable of facing whatever trials lay ahead, his courage undimmed and his spirit unbroken. And as he set out on his next adventure, his heart filled with hope and his mind set on the future, Perseus knew that he was destined for greatness, a hero whose legend would live on for all eternity. In the ancient world of Roman, where gods and mortals walked hand in hand, there existed a realm of stories that transcended the boundaries of time and space, a realm where moral and philosophical myths were born, weaving together the threads of wisdom and insight into a tapestry of enlightenment and understanding. These were not just tales of gods and heroes, but lessons in life, teaching us the values of virtue, courage, and compassion. One such myth begins with the story of Prometheus, the titan who defied the will of the gods to bring fire to humanity, a gift that would forever change the course of history. But Prometheus's act of rebellion did not go unpunished, for Zeus, the king of the gods, saw fit to exact a terrible vengeance upon him. Bound to a rock on the side of a mountain, Prometheus endured centuries of torment at the hands of the vengeful Zeus, his body racked with pain and his spirit broken by the cruelty of his punishment. But even in the face of such suffering, Prometheus remained steadfast in his defiance, his resolve unbroken by the chains that bound him. And so it was that Prometheus became a symbol of resilience and defiance, a testament to the power of the human spirit to endure in the face of adversity. His story teaches us that even in our darkest hours, we can find the strength to persevere, to stand tall in the face of adversity, and to defy the forces that seek to oppress us. But Prometheus's tale is not just one of suffering and defiance, it is also a story of redemption and hope. For in his act of rebellion, Prometheus brought the gift of fire to humanity, igniting the flames of progress and innovation that would forever change the course of history. And so, in the flickering light of the fire, humanity found hope, a beacon of light in the darkness, guiding us towards a future filled with promise and possibility. Prometheus's sacrifice teaches us that even in our darkest hours, there is always hope, always a glimmer of light shining in the darkness, waiting to lead us towards a brighter tomorrow. But Prometheus's story is not the only moral and philosophical myth to emerge from the ancient world of Roman. There are countless others, each offering its own unique insights into the human condition and the nature of the world around us. Take, for example, the tale of Sisyphus, the cunning king condemned to spend eternity rolling a boulder up a hill, only to watch it roll back down again, a never-ending cycle of futility and frustration. Sisyphus's story teaches us about the futility of human endeavor, the inevitability of failure, and the importance of finding meaning in the face of adversity. Or consider the story of Pandora, the first woman created by the gods, whose curiosity led her to open a forbidden box, unleashing all the evils of the world upon humanity. Pandora's story teaches us about the consequences of our actions, the dangers of temptation, and the importance of exercising caution and restraint in the face of temptation. And then there is the tale of Orpheus, the legendary musician whose love for his wife Eurydice was so great that he ventured into the depths of the underworld to rescue her from the clutches of death. Orpheus's story teaches us about the power of love, the depths of devotion, and the lengths to which we will go to protect those we hold dear. These are just a few examples of the moral and philosophical myths that have endured throughout the ages, teaching us valuable lessons about life, love, and the human condition. And as we journey through the annals of history, let us not forget the wisdom contained within these ancient tales, for they are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago, offering us guidance and insight as we navigate the complexities of the modern world. In the realm of ancient Roman, amidst the towering peaks of Mount Olympus and the whispering winds of the Mediterranean, there lived a titan whose name would echo through the ages, a titan whose story would become the very essence of defiance and sacrifice. His name was Prometheus, the fire-bringer, and this is the tale of his daring rebellion against the gods. Imagine, if you will, a world shrouded in darkness, where humanity toiled and suffered under the harsh rule of the gods. In this world, fire was a mystery, a gift reserved only for the divine, a symbol of power and authority that lay beyond the reach of mortal hands. But Prometheus, ever the champion of humanity, could not bear to see his beloved creations suffer in darkness and cold. And so, with a heart filled with compassion and a mind filled with determination, he set out to steal fire from the gods themselves, to bring light and warmth to the world below. With stealth and cunning worthy of the greatest heroes, Prometheus crept into the very heart of Olympus, where the fires of the gods burned bright and eternal. And there, amidst the thundering halls of the divine, he seized upon a burning ember and concealed it within a hollow stalk of fennel, shielding it from the prying eyes of the gods. But even as Prometheus fled from the halls of Olympus, his heart filled with triumph, he knew that his act of defiance would not go unpunished. For Zeus, the king of the gods, saw fit to exact a terrible vengeance upon him, a punishment that would echo through the ages and serve as a warning to all who dared to defy the will of the gods. Bound to a rock on the side of a mountain, Prometheus endured centuries of torment at the hands of the vengeful Zeus, his body racked with pain and his spirit broken by the cruelty of his punishment. But even in the face of such suffering, Prometheus remained steadfast in his defiance, his resolve unbroken by the chains that bound him. For Prometheus knew that his sacrifice had not been in vain, that the gift of fire he had bestowed upon humanity would forever change the course of history, igniting the flames of progress and innovation that would lead humanity out of darkness and into the light. And so, as the ages passed and the world changed around him, Prometheus remained bound to his rock, a silent sentinel watching over the world below. And though his body may have been chained, his spirit soared free, a beacon of hope shining bright in the darkness, guiding humanity towards a future filled with promise and possibility. For in the heart of Prometheus burned the fire of defiance, a flame that could never be extinguished, no matter how fierce the winds of fate may blow. And as long as that flame burned bright, humanity would always have a champion, a protector, and a friend in the heart of the firebringer. In the land of ancient Rome, where myths and legends danced upon the winds, there lived a man whose name would become synonymous with futility and perseverance. A man whose story would come to embody the very essence of the human struggle against the forces of fate. His name was Sisyphus, and this is the tale of his eternal plight. Picture, if you will, a kingdom shrouded in darkness, where the streets echoed with the sounds of suffering and despair. It was here, in the city of Corinth, that Sisyphus ruled as king, a cunning and ambitious ruler whose thirst for power knew no bounds. But Sisyphus's ambition would be his undoing, for he dared to defy the will of the gods themselves. In his arrogance, he sought to outsmart Zeus, the king of the gods, and claim dominion over all of Olympus. Enraged by Sisyphus's audacity, Zeus devised a punishment that would forever seal the king's fate, a punishment so cruel and relentless that it would come to define him for all eternity. And so, Sisyphus was condemned to spend eternity rolling a boulder up a hill, only to watch it roll back down again, a never-ending cycle of futility and frustration. But even in the face of such torment, Sisyphus refused to surrender to despair. With each passing day, he would summon all of his strength and courage, pushing the boulder up the hill with all his might, his muscles straining and his breath coming in ragged gasps. And as the boulder rolled back down the hill, Sisyphus would steel himself for the task ahead, his resolve unbroken by the relentless march of time. For he knew that even in the darkest moments, there was always hope, a flickering flame that burned bright in the depths of his soul, driving him ever onward in his quest for redemption. As the centuries passed and the world changed around him, Sisyphus remained steadfast in his defiance, his spirit unbroken by the weight of his burden. For he knew that his struggle was not in vain, that even in the face of insurmountable odds, there was still meaning to be found in the act of defiance itself. And so, as the boulder rolled back down the hill once more, Sisyphus would rise to his feet, his heart filled with determination and his mind set on victory. For he knew that as long as he continued to push against the forces that sought to break him, he would never truly be defeated. And though his punishment may have been eternal, so too was his spirit, unyielding, unbreakable, and forever bound to the relentless rhythm of the hill. For in the heart of Sisyphus burned a flame that could never be extinguished, a flame that would shine bright for all eternity as a testament to the indomitable spirit of the human soul. In the enchanted world of ancient Rome, where the boundaries between gods and mortals blurred and magic danced upon the wind, there existed a realm of myths that spoke of transformation, tales of beings who transcended the limits of their mortal forms to become something greater, something more divine. These were stories of rebirth and renewal, of trials and tribulations, and of the endless cycle of life and death. Imagine, if you will, a world where the very earth trembles with the power of creation, where the air is thick with the scent of flowers and the sound of birdsong fills the air. It is here, amidst the rolling hills and verdant forests, that the story of transformation begins, a story of love, loss, and the eternal quest for redemption. In the heart of the forest, there lived a beautiful maiden named Daphne, whose beauty was matched only by her grace and kindness. But Daphne's life was forever changed when she caught the eye of Apollo, the radiant god of the sun, whose love for her burned brighter than 1,000 suns. But Daphne's heart belonged not to Apollo, but to the earth itself, to the forests and rivers that had been her home since birth. And so, when Apollo pursued her relentlessly, she fled into the depths of the forest, her heart pounding with fear and her breath coming in ragged gasps. But Apollo would not be deterred, for his love for Daphne knew no bounds. And so, he chased her through the forest, his steps shaking the earth and his voice ringing out like thunder. But no matter how fast he ran, Daphne always stayed one step ahead, her feet flying over the forest floor with the speed of the wind. And then, just as Apollo was about to catch her, Daphne felt a strange sensation wash over her, a sensation of lightness and freedom, as if the very air around her had become infused with magic. And in that moment, she knew what she must do. With a cry of defiance, Daphne called out to the earth itself, pleading for its help in her time of need. And in response, the earth opened up beneath her feet, swallowing her whole and transforming her into a laurel tree, a symbol of strength and endurance that would stand tall for all eternity. As Apollo reached out to touch her, he found only bark and leaves beneath his fingers, his beloved Daphne forever out of reach. And though his heart was filled with sorrow, he knew that Daphne's transformation was a testament to her strength and resilience, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, the human spirit could endure. But Daphne's story is not the only tale of transformation to emerge from the world of ancient Roman. There are countless others, each with its own unique lessons and insights into the nature of change and renewal. Take, for example, the story of Arachne, the talented weaver whose arrogance led her to challenge the goddess Athena to a weaving contest. In her hubris, Arachne believed herself to be superior to the gods themselves, and so she dared to defy Athena's authority. But Athena, in her wisdom, knew that pride must be tempered with humility, and so she transformed Arachne into a spider, condemning her to weave her intricate webs for all eternity. And though Arachne's fate may seem cruel, it serves as a reminder that even the greatest talents must be wielded with care and humility. And then there is the tale of Narcissus, the beautiful youth whose vanity knew no bounds. Consumed by his own reflection, Narcissus wasted away, his love for himself blinding him to the world around him. And so, he was transformed into a flower, a symbol of fleeting beauty and the dangers of narcissism. These are just a few examples of the myths of transformation that have endured throughout the ages, teaching us valuable lessons about the nature of change and the power of renewal. And as we journey through the annals of history, let us not forget the wisdom contained within these ancient tales, for they are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago, offering us guidance and insight as we navigate the complexities of the modern world. In the vibrant tapestry of ancient Roman, where myths and legends wove themselves into the very fabric of reality, there lived a young maiden whose name would echo through the ages, a maiden whose talent and ambition would lead her to challenge the very gods themselves. Her name was Arachne, and this is the tale of her daring defiance and tragic transformation. Picture, if you will, a small village nestled amidst the rolling hills of Rome, where the sound of laughter and the smell of freshly baked bread filled the air. It was here, in this humble village, that Arachne was born, a girl with a gift for weaving that surpassed even the most skilled artisans. From a young age, Arachne's fingers danced across the loom with a grace and precision that seemed almost supernatural. Her tapestries were a sight to behold, each thread woven with such skill and artistry that they seemed to come alive with color and movement. But Arachne's talent did not go unnoticed, for word of her skill spread far and wide, attracting the attention of none other than Athena, the goddess of wisdom and crafts. Enraged by Arachne's arrogance and audacity, Athena descended from Mount Olympus to confront the young maiden, her eyes blazing with anger. You dare to challenge the gods themselves with your petty talents? Athena thundered, her voice echoing through the village square. I shall teach you the folly of your ways, young Arachne. But Arachne was not cowed by the goddess's fury. In fact, she welcomed the challenge, her heart filled with a burning desire to prove her worth. And so, with a defiant gleam in her eye, she accepted Athena's challenge to a weaving contest, a contest that would forever change the course of her life. For days and nights, Arachne worked tirelessly at her loom, her fingers flying across the threads with a speed and skill that seemed almost supernatural. And when she finally emerged from her workshop, she presented Athena with a tapestry so breathtakingly beautiful that even the goddess herself was left speechless. But Athena's pride would not allow her to admit defeat, and so she flew into a rage, tearing Arachne's masterpiece to shreds with a single swipe of her hand. In her fury, she cursed Arachne, condemning her to a life of endless weaving, a punishment that would see her transformed into a spider, forever condemned to spin her intricate webs for all eternity. And so it was that Arachne found herself trapped in a never-ending cycle of creation and destruction, her fingers weaving tirelessly as she struggled to escape the cruel fate that had befallen her. But no matter how hard she worked, no matter how many webs she spun, she could never break free from the chains of her own making. But amidst the darkness and despair, there was still a glimmer of hope, a flickering flame that burned bright in the depths of Arachne's soul. For even as she toiled away at her loom, she found solace in the beauty of her creations, finding peace in the knowledge that her art would live on long after she was gone. And so, as the centuries passed and the world changed around her, Arachne remained steadfast in her defiance, her spirit unbroken by the cruel hand of fate. For though she may have been transformed into a spider, her talent and ambition remained undimmed, a testament to the indomitable spirit of the human soul. And though her story may be one of tragedy and loss, it is also a story of resilience and redemption, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is still beauty to be found, still hope to be cherished. For as long as there are dreams to be dreamt and stories to be told, the spirit of Arachne will live on, a symbol of the enduring power of the human imagination. In the ancient woods of Rome, where the whispers of the wind carried secrets and the shadows danced with the light of the moon, there lived a nymph named Echo. She was known for her sweet voice, which could mimic the sounds of the forest with such clarity that it seemed as if the very trees themselves were speaking. Echo's days were spent wandering through the woods, her heart filled with the beauty and wonder of the world around her. But despite her joyous nature, Echo was lonely, for she longed for someone to share her life with, someone who could understand the depths of her soul. Little did Echo know that her life was about to change forever, for fate had other plans in store for her. One day, as she was wandering through the forest, she stumbled upon a young man of unparalleled beauty, a man whose very presence seemed to set the world ablaze with light. This man was Narcissus, a hunter whose beauty was matched only by his arrogance and vanity. He was the epitome of perfection, his features so flawless that they seemed almost otherworldly. And yet, for all his outward beauty, Narcissus was cold and aloof, his heart untouched by the love of others. From the moment Echo laid eyes on Narcissus, she was captivated by his beauty, her heart pounding with a desire she could not explain. She longed to speak to him, to tell him of the love that burned within her, but her voice failed her, and all she could do was watch in silence as he passed by. But fate was not finished with Echo yet, for as Narcissus wandered deeper into the forest, he heard the sound of footsteps behind him, a sound that seemed to echo through the trees with a haunting familiarity. Confused and intrigued, Narcissus called out into the darkness, but received no response. Unbeknownst to Narcissus, it was Echo who had been following him, her heart filled with longing and despair. But try as she might, she could not find the words to speak, and so she remained hidden in the shadows, her presence known only by the echoes of her footsteps. As the days passed, Narcissus grew increasingly frustrated by the mysterious voice that seemed to follow him wherever he went. He longed to confront the source of the sound, to demand answers to the questions that plagued his mind. And so, he called out into the darkness once more, his voice tinged with anger and frustration. To his surprise, this time the voice responded, a voice that seemed to come from all around him, echoing through the trees with a haunting beauty. And as Narcissus listened, he felt something stir within him, a longing, a desire, a yearning for something he could not name. Driven by curiosity and desire, Narcissus followed the sound of the voice deeper into the forest, his heart racing with anticipation. And there, amidst the shadows and the silence, he finally came face to face with the source of the sound, a nymph named Echo, whose beauty took his breath away. But Echo's joy was short-lived, for she soon realized that Narcissus was not interested in her love, but rather in his own reflection. For Narcissus had caught sight of himself in a pool of water, and he was captivated by the image staring back at him, a reflection of such beauty that he could not tear his eyes away. And so, Narcissus remained by the side of the pool, gazing at his reflection with a love so deep and consuming that it consumed him entirely. And as he stared into the depths of the water, his body began to change, transforming into a flower of unparalleled beauty, a flower that would forever bear his name, a reminder of the dangers of vanity and self-absorption. Meanwhile, Echo could only watch in silence as the man she loved slipped away from her, lost to a love that could never be returned. And as she gazed upon the flower that now stood in place of Narcissus, she felt a tear fall from her eye, a tear of sorrow, of longing, of regret. But even in her despair, Echo knew that she could not let Narcissus's story end in tragedy. And so, with a voice filled with love and compassion, she whispered his name into the wind, ensuring that his memory would live on forever in the hearts of those who heard it. And as the echoes of her voice faded into the distance, Echo knew that she would carry Narcissus's memory with her always, a reminder of the power of love, of loss, and of the eternal longing that binds us all together. In the heart of ancient Rome, where the grandeur of the empire cast its shadow over the bustling streets and towering monuments, there existed a world of gods and goddesses, of rituals and ceremonies that bound the people together in a shared sense of faith and devotion. This is the story of religious practices in ancient Rome, a tale of mystery and wonder, of reverence and awe. Imagine, if you will, the grandeur of the Roman Forum, where the mighty temples of Jupiter, Juno, and Minerva towered over the city like giants of stone and marble. It was here that the people of Rome gathered to pay homage to their gods, offering prayers and sacrifices in the hopes of winning their favor and protection. But the gods of ancient Rome were not distant and aloof like those of other civilizations. No, they were intimately involved in the daily lives of the people, guiding their actions and shaping their destinies in ways both subtle and profound. For the Romans, religion was not just a matter of belief, it was a way of life, a thread that wove itself through every aspect of society, from politics and warfare to family life and personal relationships. It was a source of strength and stability in an uncertain world, a reminder that no matter what trials and tribulations they faced, the gods were always watching over them. One of the most important religious practices in ancient Rome was the offering of sacrifices, a ritual that served as a way of communicating with the gods and seeking their favor. These sacrifices took many forms, from simple offerings of food and wine to elaborate ceremonies involving the slaughter of animals. But perhaps the most important of all sacrifices was the blood sacrifice, in which an animal, usually a bull or a sheep, was slaughtered in honor of the gods. The blood of the animal was then collected and offered up to the gods as a symbol of the life force that flowed through all living things. The Romans believed that by offering these sacrifices, they could appease the gods and ensure their continued favor and protection. It was a solemn and sacred duty, one that required careful preparation and meticulous attention to detail. But religious practices in ancient Rome were not confined to grand ceremonies and elaborate rituals. They also encompassed the daily rituals and observances that filled the lives of ordinary Romans with meaning and purpose. For example, every household had its own household gods, known as the Lares and Penates, who were worshipped with daily offerings of food and drink. These household gods were believed to protect the family and ensure their prosperity and well-being. Likewise, the Romans celebrated a multitude of festivals and holidays throughout the year, each dedicated to a different god or goddess and marked by feasting, dancing, and religious ceremonies. These festivals served not only as a way of honoring the gods, but also as a way of bringing the community together in a spirit of joy and celebration. But perhaps the most important religious practice of all was the veneration of the emperor as a divine figure, the embodiment of the gods on earth. The emperor was worshipped as a living god, and his authority was seen as being derived directly from the gods themselves. This cult of the emperor served not only to legitimize his rule, but also to unite the people of Rome under a common religious identity. For in worshipping the emperor, the people were also affirming their allegiance to the state and to the gods who had blessed it with prosperity and power. But despite the grandeur and majesty of the Roman religious practices, there was also a darker side, a side filled with superstition and fear, with rituals and ceremonies designed to ward off evil spirits and appease the wrath of the gods. For the Romans believed that the gods were capricious and unpredictable beings, prone to fits of anger and jealousy if not properly appeased. And so, they went to great lengths to ensure that they remained in the gods' good graces, performing rituals and sacrifices with meticulous care and attention to detail. But even as they sought to placate the gods, the Romans also harbored a deep-seated fear of divine retribution, a fear that drove them to seek out omens and portents in the world around them, searching for signs of the gods' favor or displeasure. And so, the religious practices of ancient Rome were a complex tapestry of belief and ritual, of devotion and fear, a tapestry that bound the people together in a shared sense of faith and community, even as it reminded them of the awesome power and majesty of the gods who watched over them. In the heart of ancient Rome, amidst the bustling streets and towering monuments, there existed a world of sacred sites and holy spaces, places where the gods walked among mortals, where prayers were offered and miracles performed. This is the story of temples, altars, and sacred sites in ancient Rome, a tale of wonder and reverence, of beauty and mystery. Imagine, if you will, the grandeur of the Temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus, the mightiest of all temples in Rome. Situated atop the Capitoline Hill, it stood as a testament to the power and majesty of the King of the Gods, its towering columns reaching up to the heavens like outstretched arms. As you approach the temple, you are greeted by the sight of priests in flowing robes, their faces bathed in the soft glow of flickering torches. The air is thick with the scent of incense and the sound of prayers whispered on the lips of the faithful. Inside the temple, the air is cool and dimly lit, the walls adorned with intricate carvings and elaborate frescoes depicting scenes from myth and legend. At the center of it all stands the statue of Jupiter, his thunderbolt raised high above his head, a symbol of his power and authority. But the Temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus was not the only sacred site in Rome. Throughout the city, there were countless temples and shrines dedicated to a multitude of gods and goddesses, each one a testament to the piety and devotion of the Roman people. One such temple was the Temple of Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. Situated on the banks of the Tiber River, it was a place of pilgrimage for lovers and couples seeking the blessing of the goddess on their unions. As you enter the temple, you are struck by the beauty of its architecture, the graceful columns, the delicate carvings, the soft glow of candlelight reflecting off the marble floors. It is a place of peace and serenity, where the tumult of the world outside falls away, and only the presence of the goddess remains. But temples were not the only sacred sites in ancient Rome. There were also altars and shrines scattered throughout the city, where the people could offer prayers and sacrifices to the gods in times of need. One such shrine was the Arapaces Augusti, or Altar of Augustan Peace, a magnificent structure built by the Emperor Augustus to commemorate the peace and prosperity that had come to Rome under his rule. As you stand before the altar, you are struck by the beauty of its design, the intricate carvings, the delicate reliefs, the sense of harmony and balance that seems to permeate the air. It is a place of reverence and awe, where the presence of the gods is felt keenly by all who come to pay their respects. But perhaps the most sacred site of all was the Era Maxima, or Great Altar, situated in the heart of the Roman Forum. It was here that the ancient rituals of the Roman religion were performed, where sacrifices were offered and prayers offered up to the gods. As you stand before the altar, you can feel the weight of history pressing down upon you, the countless generations who have come before, seeking solace and salvation in the presence of the divine. It is a place of power and mystery, where the boundaries between the mortal world and the realm of the gods blur and fade away. But even as you stand in awe before these sacred sites, you cannot help but feel a sense of humility, a recognition of the vastness and majesty of the cosmos and of our own small place within it. For in the presence of the gods, we are but mere mortals, fleeting and ephemeral, yet bound together by the shared experience of wonder and reverence. In the heart of ancient Rome, where the sun-drenched streets echoed with the laughter of the people and the scent of incense filled the air, there existed a world of festivals and celebrations in honor of the gods, a world of joy and jubilation, of music and dance, of feasting and revelry. This is the story of festivals and celebrations in ancient Rome, a tale of wonder and merriment, of devotion and gratitude. Imagine, if you will, the grandeur of the Lupercalia festival, one of the oldest and most revered celebrations in all of Rome. Held in honor of the god Lupercus, the festival was a time of purification and renewal, a time when the people sought the blessing of the gods for the coming year. As you make your way through the crowded streets of Rome, you can feel the excitement building in the air, the sound of drums and flutes, the laughter of children, the smell of roasting meat and sweet wine. Everywhere you look, people are dressed in their finest clothes, their faces flushed with excitement and anticipation. As you enter the sacred grove of Lupercal, where the festival is held, you are greeted by the sight of priests clad in animal skins, their bodies smeared with the blood of sacrificial goats. They move through the crowd with wild abandon, their voices raised in prayer and supplication to the gods. But the Lupercalia festival was not the only celebration in honor of the gods. Throughout the year, the people of Rome celebrated a multitude of festivals and holidays, each dedicated to a different god or goddess and marked by feasting, dancing, and religious ceremonies. One such festival was the Saturnalia, a time of merriment and revelry held in honor of the god Saturn. Lasting for 7 days, it was a time of feasting and gift-giving, of singing and dancing, of laughter and joy. As you wander through the streets of Rome during the Saturnalia, you are struck by the sense of camaraderie and goodwill that fills the air. Everywhere you look, people are smiling and laughing, their hearts filled with the warmth and joy of the season. But perhaps the most important festival of all was the Ludi Romani, or Roman Games, held in honor of Jupiter, the king of the gods. These games were a time of fierce competition and athletic prowess, a time when the people of Rome gathered together to celebrate their strength and skill in the name of the gods. As you watch the gladiators battle it out in the arena, their swords flashing in the sunlight, you can feel the raw energy and excitement coursing through the crowd. It is a spectacle unlike any other, a testament to the power and majesty of the gods and the indomitable spirit of the Roman people. But even as you revel in the excitement of the festivals and celebrations, you cannot help but feel a sense of awe and reverence for the gods who watch over you. For in the midst of the joy and merriment, there is also a deep sense of gratitude, a recognition of the blessings that have been bestowed upon you, and the debt of gratitude you owe to the gods who have guided and protected you throughout your life. And so, as you raise your voice in song and dance, as you feast and celebrate with your friends and loved ones, you offer up a silent prayer of thanks to the gods who have blessed you with this moment of joy and celebration. For in the end, it is they who are the true source of all happiness and fulfillment, and it is their grace and favor that you seek above all else. In the ancient city of Rome, nestled amidst the grandeur of its temples and the hustle and bustle of its streets, there existed a festival unlike any other. A celebration that brought together people from all walks of life in a joyous display of merriment and camaraderie. This was the Saturnalia, a time of revelry and indulgence, of feasting and gift-giving, held in honor of the god Saturn. As the winter solstice approached, anticipation for the Saturnalia festival grew throughout the city. The air was filled with excitement and anticipation, and the streets were adorned with colorful decorations and festive lights. It was a time of year when the ordinary rules of society were set aside, and the people of Rome embraced the spirit of generosity and goodwill that defined the festival. As the first day of the Saturnalia dawned, the city was transformed into a whirlwind of activity. Marketplaces bustled with vendors selling gifts and treats, while homes and temples were adorned with wreaths of evergreen and candles. Everywhere you looked, there were signs of celebration and joy. In the heart of the city, the Forum Romanum was alive with the sounds of laughter and music. There, beneath the watchful gaze of the gods, the people of Rome gathered to kick off the festivities with a grand procession. Led by priests clad in colorful robes, the procession wound its way through the streets, accompanied by musicians playing drums and flutes. As the procession reached its destination, the crowd erupted into cheers and applause. For before them stood the temple of Saturn, the focal point of the festival and the symbol of abundance and prosperity. Here, the priests offered prayers and sacrifices to the god, seeking his blessing for the coming year. But it was not just the gods who were honored during the Saturnalia festival. The festival was also a time for the people of Rome to express their gratitude and goodwill towards one another. Homes were open to friends and strangers alike, and lavish feasts were prepared to celebrate the bonds of friendship and community. As the sun began to set, families gathered around their hearths to share a meal together, a meal that was often accompanied by music, dancing, and storytelling. It was a time for laughter and joy, for reconnecting with loved ones, and for reflecting on the blessings of the past year. But perhaps the most beloved tradition of the Saturnalia festival was the exchange of gifts. In a gesture of generosity and goodwill, people would give and receive presents from friends, family, and even strangers. These gifts ranged from simple tokens of affection to lavish displays of wealth, but no matter their size or value, they were given with love and gratitude. As the days of the festival wore on, the city of Rome became a whirlwind of activity. The streets were filled with the sounds of revelry and laughter, and the air was heavy with the scent of roasting meats and spiced wine. It was a time of joy and abundance, a time when the ordinary cares of the world were set aside in favor of celebration and merriment. But even as the festivities reached their peak, there was a sense of bittersweetness in the air. For the Saturnalia festival was not just a time of celebration, it was also a time of reflection, a reminder of the impermanence of life and the fleeting nature of happiness. As the final day of the festival drew to a close, the people of Rome gathered one last time to bid farewell to the god Saturn. With hearts full of gratitude and memories to last a lifetime, they offered up their final prayers and sacrifices, knowing that the spirit of the Saturnalia would live on in their hearts long after the festival had ended. And so, as the sun set on another Saturnalia festival, the people of Rome returned to their homes, their hearts full of joy and gratitude for the blessings of the past year. For in the end, it was not the gifts or the feasts that defined the Saturnalia festival, but the spirit of love and generosity that united them all in a bond of friendship and community. In the ancient city of Rome, there existed a festival shrouded in mystery and tradition, a festival that stirred the hearts of the people and brought them together in a whirlwind of excitement and anticipation. This was the Lupercalia, a celebration of purification and renewal, a time when the city came alive with the pounding of drums and the cries of the priests. As the winter chill gripped the city, the people of Rome eagerly awaited the arrival of the Lupercalia festival. For weeks, preparations had been underway, with priests gathering supplies and citizens decorating their homes in anticipation of the grand celebration. On the eve of the festival, the city was alive with anticipation. The streets were crowded with people, their faces flushed with excitement as they made their way to the sacred grove of Lupercal, where the festival was to be held. As the first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, the priests emerged from the temple, clad in nothing but the skins of goats. With wild abandon, they danced and sang, their voices raised in praise of the god Lupercus, the protector of flocks and herds. As the sun rose higher in the sky, the priests made their way through the city, carrying with them the sacred instruments of the festival, the luperci, or whips made from strips of goat skin. With each crack of the whip, they sought to purify the city and ward off evil spirits, ensuring the fertility of the land and the prosperity of the people. But the Lupercalia festival was not just a time of purification, it was also a time of celebration and revelry. As the day wore on, the streets of Rome came alive with the sounds of music and laughter, as people gathered to feast and make merry in honor of the gods. At the heart of the festival was the ritual of the Lupercal Run, a race around the sacred grove of Lupercal, in which young men would compete for the honor of being chosen as the luperci. With each lap, the runners would be whipped by the priests, their bodies marked with the blood of the sacrifice and their spirits purified by the touch of the gods. As the sun began to set, the people of Rome gathered around the sacred bonfire, where the priests would offer sacrifices to the god Lupercus. With hearts full of gratitude and reverence, they offered up their prayers for the fertility of the land and the prosperity of the city, knowing that their offerings would be received with favor by the gods. As the flames of the bonfire rose high into the night sky, the people of Rome danced and sang, their voices mingling with the crackling of the flames and the beating of the drums. It was a time of joy and celebration, a time when the bonds of community were strengthened and the spirit of the gods was felt keenly by all. But as the final embers of the bonfire faded into darkness, there was a sense of sadness in the air, a recognition that the festival was drawing to a close, and that the time for purification and renewal was coming to an end. And so, as the people of Rome made their way home to their beds, their hearts were filled with a sense of peace and contentment, knowing that they had honored the gods and celebrated the traditions of their ancestors with all the joy and reverence they could muster. For in the end, it was not just the rituals and ceremonies that defined the Lupercalia festival, but the spirit of community and devotion that united them all in a bond of love and fellowship. In the bustling streets of ancient Rome, there existed a festival that brought forth the vibrant colors of spring and the intoxicating scent of flowers, a festival that celebrated the goddess Flora and the bounty of the earth. This was the Floralia, a time of joy and abundance, of laughter and revelry, when the city was adorned with garlands of flowers and the air was filled with the sweet perfume of blossoms. As the chill of winter began to fade and the first signs of spring appeared, the people of Rome eagerly awaited the arrival of the Floralia festival. For it was a time of renewal and rebirth, a time when the earth awakened from its slumber and burst forth in a riot of color and life. On the morning of the festival, the streets of Rome were alive with excitement. Citizens adorned themselves in bright, flowing garments, their faces wreathed in smiles as they made their way to the heart of the city, where the festivities were to take place. In the center of the Forum Romanum, beneath the watchful gaze of the gods, stood the temple of Flora, adorned with garlands of flowers and fragrant herbs. Here, the priests and priestesses of the goddess gathered to offer prayers and sacrifices, invoking her blessings upon the city and its people. As the sun rose higher in the sky, the city came alive with the sounds of music and laughter. Market stalls overflowed with flowers and herbs, their vibrant colors and intoxicating scents drawing crowds of eager buyers. Everywhere you looked, there were signs of celebration and joy. But it was not just the streets of Rome that were transformed by the Floralia festival. Gardens and groves throughout the city burst forth in a riot of color, as flowers of every hue and variety bloomed in abundance. It was as if the very earth itself had come alive with the spirit of Flora, rejoicing in the beauty and abundance of the season. Throughout the day, the people of Rome participated in a variety of games and competitions, from flower arranging contests to poetry readings to musical performances. There were races and dances, feasts and banquets, as the city came together to celebrate the goddess and the blessings she bestowed upon them. But perhaps the most beloved tradition of the Floralia festival was the throwing of the flowers, a joyful and exuberant event in which people of all ages would gather in the streets to toss handfuls of petals into the air, laughing and dancing as they reveled in the sheer beauty and abundance of the season. As the day drew to a close and the sun began to set, the people of Rome gathered once more in the Forum Romanum, where the priests and priestesses of Flora led them in a final prayer of thanksgiving. With hearts full of gratitude and joy, they offered up their blessings to the goddess, knowing that her love and protection would continue to guide them throughout the coming year. And so, as the last rays of sunlight faded from the sky and the stars began to twinkle overhead, the people of Rome made their way home, their hearts full of love and gratitude for the goddess Flora and the blessings of springtime. For in the end, it was not just the flowers or the festivities that defined the Floralia festival, but the spirit of joy and abundance that filled the hearts of all who celebrated it. In the heart of ancient Rome, amidst the grandeur of its temples and the whispers of the gods, there existed a sacred calling, a calling that beckoned forth the chosen few to serve as intermediaries between mortals and divinity. This was the priesthood, a revered and honored position tasked with the solemn duty of tending to the spiritual needs of the city and its people. From a young age, Lucius had felt the stirrings of the divine within him, a sense of purpose and destiny that whispered of a life devoted to the gods. Born into a family of humble means, he had grown up amidst the sights and sounds of the city, but it was in the quiet moments of reflection that he felt the presence of the divine most keenly. As he grew older, Lucius found himself drawn to the temples and shrines scattered throughout the city, their sacred halls a refuge from the chaos of everyday life. There, beneath the watchful gaze of the statues and the flickering light of the votive candles, he found solace and comfort in the rituals and prayers of the priests. It was during one such visit that Lucius first felt the call of the priesthood, a call that echoed in the depths of his soul and set his heart ablaze with a fervent desire to serve the gods. With each passing day, the call grew stronger until it became impossible for him to ignore. And so, with a sense of trepidation and excitement, Lucius presented himself at the temple of Jupiter, the king of the gods, and declared his intention to become a priest. The high priest, a wise and venerable man, listened to his words with a solemn expression before nodding his approval and welcoming Lucius into the fold. From that day forward, Lucius's life was consumed by his duties as a priest. He rose before dawn each morning to tend to the sacred fires and offer prayers and sacrifices to the gods. He spent long hours studying the sacred texts and performing the rituals and ceremonies that were the hallmark of his calling. But being a priest was more than just a series of rituals and prayers. It was a way of life, a life of devotion and service, of sacrifice and humility. Lucius quickly learned that being a priest meant putting the needs of others before his own, of serving as a beacon of hope and guidance for those who sought the divine. As the years passed, Lucius's reputation as a devoted and faithful priest grew, and he found himself entrusted with ever greater responsibilities within the temple. He became a mentor and a guide to the younger acolytes, sharing with them the wisdom and knowledge that had been passed down through generations. But it was not just within the temple walls that Lucius's influence was felt. As a priest, he was called upon to minister to the spiritual needs of the people, to offer comfort and solace in times of trouble and despair. He counseled couples seeking blessings for their marriages, comforted those mourning the loss of loved ones, and offered prayers for the sick and the infirm. In times of war and conflict, Lucius stood as a steadfast beacon of hope, offering prayers for the safety and protection of the city and its people. He led processions through the streets, carrying the sacred relics of the gods and invoking their blessings upon the soldiers marching off to battle. But perhaps the most sacred duty of all was that of offering sacrifices to the gods, a solemn and reverent act that served as a reminder of the eternal bond between mortals and divinity. With each offering, Lucius felt the presence of the gods surrounding him, the divine energy filling him with a sense of awe and wonder. And so, as the years passed and the seasons changed, Lucius continued to serve as a faithful and devoted priest, his heart filled with love and reverence for the gods and the sacred calling that had chosen him. For in the end, it was not the rituals or the ceremonies that defined his priesthood, but the unwavering faith and devotion that burned bright within his soul. In the heart of ancient Rome, nestled within the shadows of the grand temples and bustling streets, there existed a place of mystery and magic, a place where the veil between the mortal world and the divine was thin, and where the secrets of the future lay waiting to be unveiled. This was the world of oracles, divination, and prophecy, a world steeped in intrigue and wonder, where the whispers of the gods could be heard in the rustle of leaves and the dance of the flames. It was on a crisp autumn morning that young Marcus found himself drawn to the sacred grove of Dodona, where the oracle of Jupiter spoke with the voice of the gods. As he made his way through the dense forest, the air thick with the scent of pine and earth, Marcus felt a sense of anticipation building within him, a sense that he was about to embark on a journey that would change the course of his life forever. As he approached the ancient oak tree that stood at the center of the grove, Marcus felt a shiver run down his spine, a feeling of awe and reverence at the sacredness of the place. Here, beneath the branches of the mighty oak, the priests and priestesses of Jupiter communed with the gods, offering prayers and sacrifices in exchange for glimpses of the future. With trembling hands, Marcus approached the high priestess, a wise and venerable woman whose eyes seemed to hold the wisdom of the ages. With a voice that seemed to echo with the power of the gods themselves, she welcomed Marcus and bid him to kneel before the sacred altar. Closing his eyes, Marcus felt a sense of calm wash over him as the priestess began to chant the sacred incantations, calling forth the spirits of the earth and the sky. With each word, Marcus felt the power of the divine flowing through him, filling him with a sense of purpose and clarity. And then, suddenly, it happened, the air around him seemed to shimmer and shift, and Marcus felt himself transported to a realm beyond time and space, where the secrets of the universe lay waiting to be discovered. In that moment, he saw visions of things yet to come, of battles won and lost, of love found and lost, of triumph and tragedy. But amidst the chaos and confusion, Marcus saw a glimmer of hope, a flicker of light in the darkness that promised a better future for himself and his people. With renewed determination, he vowed to do whatever it took to make that future a reality, to honor the guidance of the gods and fulfill his destiny. As he emerged from the trance-like state, Marcus felt a sense of clarity and purpose unlike anything he had ever known before. With a heart full of gratitude, he thanked the priestess for her guidance and made his way back to the city, his mind alive with possibilities and his spirit aflame with the fire of prophecy. In the days and weeks that followed, Marcus devoted himself to the study of divination and prophecy, eager to unlock the mysteries of the future and harness the power of the gods for the good of his people. He consulted with sages and scholars, delving into ancient texts and scrolls in search of the wisdom that would guide him on his journey. And as time passed, Marcus's reputation as a skilled and gifted seer grew, and people from far and wide sought his counsel and guidance. With each prophecy he delivered, Marcus felt the weight of responsibility upon his shoulders, knowing that the fate of countless lives rested in his hands. But amidst the challenges and uncertainties of the future, Marcus never lost sight of the sacredness of his calling, nor the importance of humility and reverence in the face of the divine. For he knew that the power of prophecy was a gift from the gods, and that it was his duty to use that gift wisely and judiciously. And so, as the years went by and the world changed around him, Marcus continued to serve as a faithful and devoted oracle, his heart filled with gratitude for the gods and the mysteries they had revealed to him. For in the end, it was not the visions or the prophecies that defined his life, but the unwavering faith and devotion that burned bright within his soul. In the heart of ancient Rome, where the mighty Colosseum stood as a testament to the glory of the empire, there existed another realm of beauty and wonder, a realm where gods and heroes walked the earth, immortalized in the vibrant colors of art and the flowing lines of literature. This was the world of Roman mythology in art and literature, a world where the stories of the gods and goddesses, the heroes and heroines, were brought to life in breathtaking detail, captivating the hearts and minds of all who beheld them. It was in the bustling streets of Rome that young Flavia first encountered the wonders of Roman mythology. Born into a family of artisans, she spent her days surrounded by the tools of her trade, paintbrushes and canvases, chisels and marble, her fingers itching to create something beautiful, something that would capture the essence of the world around her. From an early age, Flavia was drawn to the stories of the gods and goddesses that filled the air, tales of love and betrayal, of triumph and tragedy, passed down through the generations like precious treasures. She would spend hours listening to the bards and poets weave their tales, her imagination ablaze with images of divine beings and heroic deeds. But it was not just in the spoken word that Flavia found inspiration, it was in the art and literature that adorned the city, in the magnificent frescoes that adorned the walls of the temples and the statues that graced the public squares. Each work of art told a story of gods and mortals, of the divine and the mundane, that stirred something deep within her soul. And so, with a sense of purpose and determination, Flavia set out to create her own masterpieces, to capture the beauty and majesty of Roman mythology in her art, to breathe life into the stories that had captivated her since childhood. Her first creation was a painting of Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, her flowing robes and golden hair shimmering in the soft light of dawn. As Flavia worked, she poured her heart and soul into every brushstroke, channeling the divine energy of the goddess herself into the canvas before her. And when she was done, she stepped back to admire her handiwork, her heart swelling with pride at the beauty she had created. For in that moment, Venus was more than just a painting, she was a living, breathing embodiment of love and desire, a testament to the power of art to transcend the boundaries of time and space. But Flavia's talents were not limited to the realm of painting, she was also a gifted poet and storyteller, weaving tales of gods and mortals with words that danced across the page like music. Her stories spoke of love and loss, of courage and sacrifice, drawing readers into a world of myth and magic that lingered in their hearts long after the final page had been turned. And as Flavia's fame grew, so too did her influence on the world of Roman art and literature. Her paintings adorned the walls of palaces and temples, her poems were recited in the halls of power, and her stories were passed down through the generations, becoming cherished classics beloved by all. But amidst the adulation and acclaim, Flavia remained humble, ever mindful of the power and responsibility that came with her gift. For she knew that art and literature were not just forms of entertainment, they were windows into the soul, reflections of the human experience that had the power to inspire, to uplift, and to transform. And so, as the sun set on another day in ancient Rome, Flavia continued to create, her heart full of love and gratitude for the gods and goddesses who had inspired her, and for the people who had embraced her art and literature with open arms. For in the end, it was not the fame or the fortune that mattered most, it was the ability to touch the hearts and minds of others, to share in the beauty and wonder of Roman mythology, and to leave a legacy that would endure for generations to come. In the bustling streets of modern-day Rome, amidst the echoes of ancient history and the whispers of the past, there exists a connection, a thread that binds together the worlds of then and now, of myth and reality. This is the legacy of Roman mythology, a legacy that has left an indelible mark on Western culture, shaping the way we think, feel, and interact with the world around us. It was on a warm summer's day that Sophia found herself wandering the streets of Rome, her heart aflutter with excitement at the prospect of exploring the city's rich history and vibrant culture. As she strolled past ancient ruins and majestic monuments, she couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and wonder at the sheer magnitude of Rome's legacy, the legacy of Roman mythology. Growing up in a small town on the outskirts of Rome, Sophia had always been fascinated by the stories of the gods and goddesses that filled the pages of her history books. From an early age, she had been captivated by tales of Jupiter, the mighty king of the gods, and his fierce battles with the Titans, of Juno, the regal queen of the heavens, and her unwavering devotion to her husband, of Neptune, the god of the sea, and his tempestuous temper. But it wasn't until she moved to the city itself that Sophia truly began to appreciate the impact of Roman mythology on Western culture. Everywhere she looked, she saw reminders of the gods and goddesses who had once ruled the earth, the statues that adorned the piazzas, the frescoes that adorned the walls of ancient buildings, the names that echoed through the streets. And as Sophia delved deeper into the world of Roman mythology, she began to see how its influence extended far beyond the borders of ancient Rome, shaping the very fabric of Western civilization. From literature to art, from philosophy to politics, the stories of the gods and goddesses had left an indelible mark on every aspect of human culture. Take, for example, the works of art that adorned the walls of Rome's museums and galleries, the sculptures that depicted the heroic deeds of Hercules, the paintings that immortalized the love affair between Venus and Mars, the mosaics that celebrated the triumphs of Caesar and Augustus. Each masterpiece was a testament to the enduring power of Roman mythology, a reminder of the gods and goddesses who had once walked among mortals. But it wasn't just in the realm of art that the impact of Roman mythology could be felt, it was also in the world of literature, where poets and playwrights had drawn inspiration from the stories of old to create timeless classics that spoke to the human condition. From the epics of Homer to the tragedies of Shakespeare, the themes and motifs of Roman mythology permeated every page, offering readers a glimpse into a world of magic and wonder. And as Sophia wandered through the streets of Rome, she couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the gods and goddesses who had shaped her world in ways she could scarcely imagine. For in the end, it was the stories of Roman mythology that had given her a deeper appreciation for the beauty and complexity of the world around her, and for that, she would be forever grateful. In the heart of a bustling city, where the echoes of ancient traditions blend seamlessly with the rhythms of modern life, there exists a connection, a bridge that spans the gap between past and present, tradition and innovation. This is the story of surviving traditions and modern interpretations, a story of how the ancient wisdom of our ancestors continues to shape and inspire us in the world of today. It was a crisp autumn morning when Mia found herself wandering through the narrow cobblestone streets of a quaint Italian village nestled in the rolling hills of Tuscany. As she meandered past centuries-old buildings and charming cafes, she couldn't help but feel a sense of reverence for the rich tapestry of history that surrounded her, the traditions and customs that had been passed down through generations, preserving the essence of a bygone era. Growing up in the bustling metropolis of Rome, Mia had always felt a deep connection to her country's rich cultural heritage. From an early age, she had been captivated by the stories of ancient Rome, the myths and legends that had shaped the world as she knew it. But it wasn't until she ventured beyond the confines of the city that she truly began to understand the enduring power of these traditions and their relevance in the modern world. As Mia explored the village, she encountered remnants of ancient rituals and ceremonies that had survived the test of time, still practiced by the local community with a reverence and devotion that spoke to the depth of their significance. From harvest festivals that celebrated the bounty of the land to religious processions that honored the gods and goddesses of old, each tradition was a living testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of tradition. But it wasn't just the surviving traditions that fascinated Mia, it was also the modern interpretations of these ancient customs that spoke to her soul. In the nearby town square, she stumbled upon a group of musicians playing traditional folk songs with a contemporary twist, blending ancient melodies with modern beats to create a sound that was both timeless and innovative. And as Mia listened to the music, she couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at the way in which these artists had breathed new life into age-old traditions, infusing them with fresh energy and vitality for a new generation. For in the hands of these modern-day bards, the stories of the past were transformed into something vibrant and alive, resonating with audiences in ways that transcended time and space. As the sun began to set over the Tuscan countryside, casting a golden glow over the landscape, Mia reflected on her journey and the lessons she had learned along the way. She realized that while the world may be constantly changing, the essence of who we are and where we come from remains unchanged. The traditions and customs that have been passed down through the ages, the stories and myths that connect us to our past and shape our future. And as Mia made her way back to the bustling streets of Rome, her heart was filled with a newfound appreciation for the enduring power of tradition and the endless possibilities of modern interpretation. For in the end, it is our ability to embrace both the old and the new, the past and the present, that allows us to truly understand and appreciate the rich tapestry of human experience that binds us together as one. In the heart of a bustling library, where the scent of ancient parchment mingles with the soft whisper of turning pages, there exists a world of myths and legends, of gods and heroes, where the lines between reality and imagination blur and the stories of old come to life. This is the realm of comparisons with Greek mythology and other mythological traditions, where the threads of ancient wisdom intertwine to form a tapestry of human experience that spans across cultures and civilizations. It was a rainy afternoon when Emma found herself lost in the labyrinthine aisles of the library, her fingers tracing the spines of dusty old tomes as she searched for a glimpse into the mysteries of the past. As she delved deeper into the stacks, she stumbled upon a treasure trove of ancient texts, a collection of myths and legends from around the world, each one a window into a different culture and tradition. Growing up in a small town nestled in the hills of Rome, Emma had always been fascinated by the stories of her ancestors, the tales of Zeus and Hera, of Apollo and Artemis, that had been passed down through generations like precious heirlooms. But it wasn't until she ventured beyond the borders of her homeland that she truly began to appreciate the similarities and differences between Greek mythology and other mythological traditions. As Emma pored over the pages of the ancient texts, she discovered that while each culture had its own unique pantheon of gods and goddesses, there were striking similarities between the myths and legends of different civilizations. From the creation stories that explained the origins of the universe to the heroic tales of demigods and monsters that tested the limits of human courage, the themes and motifs of mythological traditions were remarkably consistent across cultures. But it was in the comparisons between Greek mythology and other mythological traditions that Emma found the most profound insights. In the myths of ancient Egypt, she saw echoes of the Greek gods and goddesses in the form of Osiris and Isis, Horus and Hathor, each one a reflection of the universal human experience of love, loss, and redemption. And as Emma delved deeper into the world of comparative mythology, she began to see the connections between the myths and legends of different cultures as threads in a vast tapestry, each one weaving a unique story of the human condition. From the epic poems of India to the oral traditions of Native American tribes, from the ancient texts of Mesopotamia to the folk tales of Scandinavia, the stories of gods and heroes transcended time and space, speaking to something deep and primal within the human soul. But perhaps the most profound revelation that Emma discovered in her exploration of comparative mythology was the way in which these ancient stories continue to shape our understanding of the world today. From the architecture of ancient temples to the symbols and motifs that adorn modern art and literature, the influence of mythological traditions can be seen everywhere, reminding us of our shared humanity and the enduring power of the human imagination. As Emma closed the ancient tome and made her way out of the library, her heart was filled with a sense of wonder and awe at the vastness of human experience and the richness of our cultural heritage. For in the end, it is through the stories of gods and heroes, of myths and legends, that we come to understand ourselves and our place in the world, a world where the past and the present, the familiar and the foreign, converge in a timeless dance of human creativity and imagination. In the twilight hours of a summer evening, as the golden rays of the setting sun cast a warm glow over the ancient ruins of Rome, there exists a moment of reflection, of introspection, as we ponder the significance of Roman mythology and the enduring legacy of its myths and legends. Imagine, if you will, standing amidst the ruins of the Colosseum, surrounded by the echoes of a bygone era, where the spirits of gods and heroes still linger in the air. It is here, in this hallowed ground, that we come face to face with the power and majesty of Roman mythology, a mythology that has shaped the course of human history and left an indelible mark on the world as we know it. For millennia, the stories of Roman mythology have captivated the hearts and minds of people around the globe, inspiring awe and wonder in those who hear them. From the mighty Jupiter, king of the gods, to the fierce warrior Mars, god of war, each deity embodies a facet of the human experience, teaching us lessons about love, courage, and the pursuit of greatness. But it is not just the gods and goddesses themselves that hold significance, it is also the themes and motifs that run through their stories, reflecting the timeless struggles and triumphs of the human spirit. Whether it is the epic battles between good and evil, the tragic love stories that tug at our heartstrings, or the heroic quests that challenge us to rise above adversity, Roman mythology speaks to something deep and primal within us all. As we reflect on the enduring legacy of Roman myths, we cannot help but marvel at the way in which they continue to shape and inspire us in the modern world. From literature to art, from philosophy to politics, the influence of Roman mythology can be seen everywhere, reminding us of our shared humanity and the timeless truths that bind us together as one. But perhaps the most powerful testament to the significance of Roman mythology is the way in which it continues to resonate with people of all ages and backgrounds, across cultures and continents. Whether it is through books and movies, video games and television shows, or simply the stories we tell each other around the dinner table, the myths and legends of ancient Rome continue to capture our imagination and stir our souls. And so, as we stand amidst the ruins of this ancient empire, we are reminded of the profound impact that Roman mythology has had on the world, and we are called to action. We are called to subscribe to the channels and comment our country names, so that we may know from where our videos are being watched, and continue to share the wonders of Roman mythology with people around the globe. For in the end, it is through the power of storytelling that we are able to connect with one another, to transcend the boundaries of time and space, and to find meaning and purpose in the world around us. And as we embark on this journey together, let us never forget the significance of Roman mythology, nor the enduring legacy of its myths and legends.